not on the ground to be facing a legal trial or the punishment for them not disposing of their duties. However, it was only a couple of suspensions and a mandatory holiday given to some of the police officers. Now, a report had been submitted by one-person commission, Justice Michael D. Kuna, to the government, and there were several suggestions which were supposed to be taken care by the Karnataka State Cricket Association in Chinnaswamy Stadium for the matches to restart in Chinnaswamy Stadium. We have also been told by the Home Minister Dr. G. Parmeshwara that the Karnataka State Cricket Association and in Chinnaswamy Stadium have accepted to make sure that they will bring all the changes in the temporary manner as well as in the permanent manner, and they have seek for a permission to start the RCB or the IPL matches in the stadium of Bengaluru. So the government has given a green signal to organize IPL matches in the state of Karnataka and in the city of Bengaluru. So the question is that 11 innocent lives which were lost have not come back. Only a monetary compensation has been given to their families. The families are still grieving the loss of their loved ones. And the Bengaluru is already set to see another season of IPL. Who is to be held responsible? The point of question which has to be answered by the government now. And also we will have to see what CM will have to answer on the same issue. Back to you.
Right, Abhishek. So as families continue to grieve of those 11 people, suspended officers are back on duty and matches are now set to resume. The big question, who's responsible for those deaths? All right, viewers, now a massive fire broke out at the Unit 1 market in Bhubaneswar, which reduced 40 shops to ashes with 13 fire tenders on the site and 3 hours of constant efforts. The fires were then extinguished. There's more on this report. Take a look.
A massive fire broke out at Unit 1 market in Bhubaneswar at around 1:45 a.m. on Monday. This fire reduced more than 40 shops to ashes and causing extensive damage to property. The blaze first erupted at an idol shop located near the capital station. The flames soon spread to a nearby parked scooter and then rapidly spread to adjoining shops. With plastic goods kept near the shops, it fueled the blaze and making firefighting more challenging. To control the blaze, 13 fire tenders were sent to the site along with robotic monitors and striking fire force team. After nearly 3 hours of continuous efforts, the fire was finally brought under control. The Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation was clearing the debris caused by the fire. The investigation is still underway to determine the exact cause of the fire.
All right, viewers, with that, we come to the end of this edition of Live and Breaking. Thank you so much for watching, and don't go anywhere. On the other side, we discuss how top ministers close to Stalin have now been named by ED in a big corruption scandal, and no word has come in from the CM on money laundering.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरी राजा,
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो, मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and
Very warm welcome. You're watching Live and Breaking. I am Rakshita Mishra with you. Let's get a quick check of the headlines this hour. India's India's pole vaulter champions harassed and deboarded from train, stopped for carrying poles on the train. Major corruption scandal hits Stalin government ahead of polls. 1,000 crore kickbacks trail under scanner. ED evidence suggests Stalin government received bribes of up to 35 lakhs from candidates selected for government jobs. Top officers, engineers close to Stalin's minister named by ED in corruption scandal. No word by Chief Minister on money laundering. Karnataka DGP Ramachandra Rao suspended for allegedly being caught in an intimate act in office. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says inquiry ordered. Right, we are breaking the DGCA report now. Breaking revelation from the DGCA report, slamming Indigo for the widespread airport chaos in December, pinpointing several critical lapses including mismanagement of adequate flight crew, inadequate regulatory preparedness, shortcomings in system software support, and failure to properly identify operational deficiencies and the absence of sufficient operational buffers to handle disruptions effectively. So what happened in Indigo was unprecedented. What the mass cancellations and delays that had caused massive turbulence in our aviation sector. And now we have the DGCA report. My colleague Harsha will be getting us more details on it. Over to you, Harsha. Harsha.
Yes, Akshita rightly pointed out. So on 19 January there was a review meeting which was held because back to back after the early December. In early December, what happened after that? After that, continuously the meetings were held, the meetings were called, and fortnightly meetings were happened, weekly meetings were happened, and finally Indigo, after meeting with the regulatory body, has given an overall view exactly what happened in December, why there were so many flight disruptions, and what Indigo has done so far. But still, Indigo is standing by statement which Indigo stated in December month by stating that till 10th of February 2026 the operations will not be normalized. The operations will only get normalized only by 10th of February 2026. And that is the reason why this meeting was conducted, and the DGCA was also informed about the details of the meeting and what Indigo has done regarding the crew stability. The flight operation inspections were done. There was the operator control centers which Indigo had established everywhere not only in the airport with the ATC but also in its control center as well. And a proper review was done of the flight operations of Indigo. And now we can say that out of 2,400 flights are available, and there are many sectors flight which was reduced during the time of the problem and the issues which occurred in Indigo, but now slowly and gradually the things are getting back to normal, but not the fleet is intact as it was earlier. So now what we are learning is that Indigo has clearly stated that by 10th of February 2026, all the operations will be normalized. Back to you.
Many thanks, Harsha, for joining us with those details coming in on the DGCA report, slamming the Indigo after it had also leveled a 22 crore rupee fine on the airlines. And now we will shift to focus to the Nabeen era in BJP that has today kick-started. BJP welcomed its newest and youngest president, Nitin Nabeen. Now, he was already the national working president of the BJP since December 15th, and now he's officially become the BJP president, the national president. And from now on, he will be leading the world's largest political party. Listen into this report to know more.
The BJP headquarters at Delhi today became witness to a historic day. Chief ministers of various BJP ruling states and top leadership of the party were present to welcome its youngest president. Nitin Nabeen officially took charge from predecessor JP Nadda today in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Amid the slogans of Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Nitin took charge as the new BJP president. Prime Minister Modi heaped praises on Nitin Nabeen and applauded his excellent track record.
बीजेपी युवा मोर्चा का दायित्व हो, अलग अलग राज्यों में प्रभारी के रूप में जिम्मेदारी हो, या फिर बिहार सरकार में काम करने का अनुभव हो, नितिन जी ने हमेशा जब जो जहां जो जिम्मेवारी मिली, अपने आप को उन्होंने साबित किया है.
Nabeen started his day by paying a visit to Jhandewalan Mandir, where he sought blessings of Ma Jhandewali. Post visiting the Jhandewalan Mandir, Nitin Nabeen went to seek blessings at the Gurudwara Bangla Sahib.
माननीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष बनने से पहले सबसे बड़ी पार्टी, जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी पार्टी है, उसके राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जब बनने जा रहे हैं, जो उनकी जिंदगी का सबसे अहम पल है, ना भविष्य में इससे बड़ा पल आ सकता है, ना पहले रहा है. ऐसे में आकर उन्होंने गुरु गोविंद सिंह जी की पावन धरती पटना साहिब से जो आते हैं, उसी भावना के साथ वो दिल्ली गुरु हरकृष्ण पातशाह जी के गुरुद्वारा बंगला साहिब पहुंचते हैं. हम सबके लिए बड़े गौरव की बात है. मुझे विश्वास है जिस आदमी के अंदर इतनी आत्मीयता होती है, जिसके अंदर इतने निम्रता होती है, और जिस आदमी के अंदर ऐसा गुरु का भाव हो कि मुझे सबसे बड़ा पद संभालने से पहले गुरुद्वारे जाके गुरु चरणों में नतमस्तक होना है, परमात्मा उनकी फिर अंग संग सहाय होकर परमात्मा खुद उन पे अपनी कृपा करते हैं, आशीर्वाद देते हैं.
Prime Minister Modi, while addressing the party workers, made one thing clear for everyone.
और जब बात पार्टी के विषयों को आती है, तब माननीय नितिन नबीन जी, मैं एक कार्यकर्ता हूं, वे मेरे बॉस हैं.
Nitin Nabeen began his speech by remembering his parents.
इस अवसर पर मैं अपने माता और पिता को भी निश्चित रूप से स्मरण करते हुए उनको नमन करता हूं, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं आज मेरे व्यक्तित्व में किसी एक शख्सियत का मैं मानता हूं तो निश्चित रूप से मेरे माता पिता का संस्कार, पार्टी का विचार और कहीं ना कहीं मेरे बड़ों का मार्गदर्शन मुझे यहाँ तक पहुँचाया है।
Nabeen thanked Prime Minister Modi for the trust.
एक प्रधान सेवक के रूप में जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने सेवा की है वो हमारे कालखंड के सभी कार्यकर्ताओं के लिए प्रेरणादायी हैं। ऐसे अपने यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री, विश्व के लोकप्रिय नेता श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का मैं सबसे प्रथम अभिवादन करता हूं।
During his address, he made a mention of Ram Mandir, the security challenges in Jammu Kashmir, and the abrogation of Article 370.
आज का क्षण मेरे लिए संकल्प का क्षण है। आज सिर्फ एक पद को धारण नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं पार्टी के इस विचार को, परंपराओं को, एक राष्ट्रवादी आंदोलन की जिम्मेदारी को स्वीकार कर रहा हूँ और मैं इस अवसर पर साथ अपने सभी वरिष्ठ कार्यकर्ताओं को भी प्रणाम करता हूँ।
Nabeen is the youngest party president but has an excellent track record. He is a 5-time member of Bihar Legislative Assembly and former minister in the government of Bihar. Nabeen is widely recognized for his sustained organizational acumen and administrative experience. Nitin Nabeen entered electoral politics at a young age and was first elected to Bihar Legislative Assembly in 2006 from Patna West Assembly constituency. Since 2010, he has been consecutively elected from the Bankipur Assembly constituency, securing victories in 2010, 2015, 2020 and 2025. Nabeen also held key portfolios like road construction, urban development, housing and law in Bihar government as a cabinet minister. Nitin Nabeen also served as a state in charge in Sikkim elections and oversaw the organizational duties in Chhattisgarh as well. While it's a big day for Bharatiya Janata Party and Nitin Nabeen, what's even bigger is the responsibility. He will be leading 14 crore workers, 12 vice presidents, 8 general secretaries and 13 secretaries and 23 party spokespersons.
Breaking news coming in. The European Union chief Ursula von der Leyen's statement coming in on free trade agreement with India. Now, remember, it's von der Leyen who's also coming for Republic Day as the chief guest as well to India. Now she is speaking on the FTA, saying that this is going to be a big deal. It will be the mother of all deals that will be signed with India. This coming in after Trump's tariff threats and Trump's bullying with tariffs. And European Union now is right now the European Union chief speaking at Davos says that that EU will be signing the biggest deal with India. My colleague Pranav joins us live on the broadcast from the business desk. Pranav, well, of course, this comes in as a big statement from the European Union, as EU, somewhere says that, it puts in that faith in India and says that it's going to be one of the biggest deals.
The development is extremely important, not just from economic perspective, but even from political perspective. If you look at Ursula's complete statement, what she's talking about is in face of global uncertainties, which is indirectly a reference to the ongoing trade war between US as well as the EU. She's saying that the European Union is open to trading with different regions, the fastest growing regions in the world, where she mentions that next week when she comes to India, she's going to sign a deal. The deal is closer, almost the final negotiations are on, and it is expected that the deal will be signed with, which will give access to about 2 billion people is what she mentions. So yes, it's a big signal, not just from the point of view of a trade deal between India and EU, but also to Donald Trump, who's, so to say, locked in a bitter battle with NATO nations, where he's already threatened them with a 10% tariff because of their opposition to the Greenland, US's proposal to take over Greenland.
Right. To stay on with that, Pranav, we also have that reaction on camera of the European Union chief. Take a listen, and viewers.
And right after Davos, the next weekend, I will travel to India. There's still work to do, but we are on the cusp of a historic trade agreement. Indeed, some call it the mother of all deals. One that would create a market of 2 billion people, accounting for almost a quarter of global GDP. And crucially, that would provide.
And my colleague Pranav is back with us. So as Pranav, we can see the words that are being used by the European Union chief. Now, she says it's going to be a historic one. And there have been, of course, a lot of stop-starts as far as the European Union's deal with India is concerned. But given the geopolitical situation, as you pointed out, we see that this process is only fastening up. And this is a message being sent out from the European Union also. And in some ways advantage India. Could you just help us understand what could be in store as far as this deal is concerned and what could be of advantage to India in this?
Well, just to give you a perspective on the deal, that is, basically India is European Union's 11th largest partner and EU is in fact India's second largest trading partner. What we're looking at is primarily market access. As she mentioned, 2 billion people and the fastest growing region. Just to put it in numbers, some of the areas that are expected to, that are expected to figure out in the deal are electrical and electronic equipment, organic chemicals, mineral fuels and oils, machinery and nuclear reactors, iron and steel and pharmaceuticals. These are some of the sectors that are expected to, get a boost because of the India-EU trade deal. We are expecting the development any time post the Republic Day where she is the chief guest, Ursula is the chief guest on 26th of January.
Right, to stay on with it, Pranav, in fact, we have the full statement now coming in of Ursula von der. Let's take a listen in, viewers.
The next weekend, I will travel to India. There's still work to do, but we are on the cusp of a historic trade agreement. Indeed, some call it the mother of all deals. One that would create a market of 2 billion people, accounting for almost a quarter of global GDP. And crucially, that would provide a first mover advantage for Europe with one of the world's fastest growing and most dynamic continents. Europe wants to do business with the growth centers of today and the economic powerhouses of this century, from Latin America to the Indo-Pacific and far beyond. Europe will always choose the world, and the world is ready to choose Europe.
All right, we have market expert Ashish Vakankar joining us on the phone line. Mr. Vakankar, well, we just heard the EU chief. She calls it the mother of all deals. Now, it captures both scale and symbolism, isn't it, sir? How significant is the timing of this, especially given the fact that she has been invited for the Republic Day parade? But the main show, it seems, will be this deal.
Yes, thank you very much. I think it is important to understand that, while we have faced challenges with the bilateral trade agreement with the United States, India has been active and very aggressive in ensuring that the other trading blocs, particularly Europe, which is significantly large, that free trade agreement is done with. We've seen India go ahead and do similar trade agreements with UAE. We've seen it with Australia. We are actively pursuing with various other countries. So, one can look at things and say, we have bilateral trade agreement is stuck and India is not moving ahead. But the very fact that we are the largest growing economy in the world, with around 8.2% GDP growth that we saw, it is important for us to ensure that things keep moving. And just because one country or...
Yeah. Yes, sir. I think we've lost the connection with Mr. Vakankar. I think we also have market expert Ashish Bagga joining, Ajay Bagga, I beg your pardon. We have market expert Ajay Bagga joining us on the phone line. Mr. Bagga, well, this is the mother of all deals, as EU calls it. It's an impending free trade agreement expected to be signed when Ursula von der Leyen is in the country. And sir, how does this come in with the tariffs that have been slapped by Donald Trump against different countries and still threatens more? There is a US-India trade deal that's still in the works. How does this come into picture, sir? And how does it work to India's advantage?
Yeah, it does, because EU is the largest trading bloc in the world, made up of 27 countries. It's a unified market. So it will open up a lot of opportunities for Indian exports. It will reduce the cost of doing business, and also it will help the industries which are suffering from the US tariffs to reallocate exports into the EU. So it's a very significant move, and the markets are watching this with bated breath.
And is there any mitigation as far as when we see, when you talk about tariffs on Indian exports to the US, so can it have some direct or indirect impact to that?
Yeah, there will be rerouting of Indian exports into the EU. We have seen that last year as well. In calendar 2025, our exports to the EU went up quite sharply. So it is a very good market made up of consumers with a lot of purchasing power. It is a market which goes by the rule of law with good regulations, good protections, and the exporters will be able to grow this market. So overall, it's a very positive move, and it will help the Indian exporters and the broader Indian economy.
And sir, what does it also say in terms of symbolisms, apart from the impact and the scale, but in terms of the symbolism given the current geopolitical scenario, sir, the fact that faith is put in India Inc., sir, with European Union, the message that is being sent out here is really, really big. The fact that that India, that New Delhi did not bow down, and that has been admitted by Trump's Commerce Secretary also, that India never bowed down to, let US dictate its terms. Now we see that it also pays off, and, there are takers when it comes to a common, negotiation table.
Yeah, absolutely. I think India has handled this very well. And if you see, even the countries which have signed up with Trump, I'll give you a small example. Last week, there was a tie-up with Taiwan, where Taiwan will invest $250 billion in the US in the next 3 years. And at the time of signing, the Commerce Secretary of US was threatening that in case you don't invest, we will move the tariffs to 100%. That's not how you talk to an equal partner. So India has been very refined, very sophisticated. They have done all the negotiations backstage, and they have maintained cordiality in public discourse. I think India has handled this very well. Overall, India has been proved right, because even the deals that were done are being revisited on every whim and every fancy of the US administration. So India has not really lost out because of the way things are moving now. Europe is being threatened with 10% tariffs extra by 1st February, 25% extra by June. Yesterday, France was threatened with 200% tariffs on French wine and champagne. So it's not a guarantee that once you have signed, it's a signed and done deal. It gets revisited at every forum. So India has done well by sticking to its own national interest.
Mr. Bagga, in fact, the markets today fell sharply. In fact, 1,000 points drop in Sensex, and they've been bleeding for the entire past whole week. And the reasons, among others, is definitely the ongoing trade and tariff war. Do you think the India-EU trade deal in some way could offset the ongoing tensions that have been created on D Street because of the India-US tariffs?
Yeah, I think it's more a global issue today, a global risk-off. If you look at the U.S. Dow Jones, it's pointing to a 700-800 point cut at open today. Yesterday was a U.S. market holiday. U.S. futures are also showing cuts of 1.5%. Across Asia and Europe, markets were down today. So India has, markets have lost some amount of sentimental fillip due to the lack of a U.S. trade deal. Today was more a global risk-off because we don't know how this Greenland threats play out and how big an issue it might become. You look at Japan today, their bond market saw a sell-off. You had a minor sell-off in most Asian markets. European markets are down. French winemakers are down today, on the back of 200% tariff rate. So India, we saw a 1% cut. We have been underperforming for the last 14, 15 months. The catalyst will be a US trade deal or a revival in earnings or something good coming in the budget. These are the three catalysts we are looking at as a market.
Could the India-EU trade be one of the triggers?
Yes, it will be, but it's a minor trigger. It's not as big as an earnings recovery or something coming from the budget. So yes, it's definitely it's going to be a positive, but we need many more parts to start clicking in. So it will be a positive. It is a move ahead, and it will help the economy a lot. So all those positives are there, but it cannot fulfill the sentimental issue of the US trade deal. That is there for the markets.
Mr. Bhargav, which are some of the sectors that you feel stand to benefit from the India-EU trade deal?
See, all automobile or auto machinery, basic intermediate machinery, and then our consumption sectors like textile, gems, jewelry, leather, fine chemicals, specialty chemicals, all these will benefit from this deal. Also our metal makers, because Europe has got very little metal making left on mainland Europe. So our metal companies also could export, but largely it will be consumption as well as intermediate goods, electronics, all those would benefit from a European deal.
Right, Mr. Banga, thank you so much. We also have Kishore Subramaniam, financial expert, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Subramaniam, well, this is a $1 billion trade deal that will become the real deal at this Republic Day. It's being called the mother of all deals. How do you react to this statement by the EU chief?
Yeah, see, the EU trade deal will offset a little bit, but let me be very honest that the true triggers for this market are going to be the earnings, because I believe that that's going to be the core factor, number one. Number two, the Indo-US trade deal is also something which we are not very sure whether it's going to happen or not.
Yeah.
But if earnings pick up, which is the core, I don't think so that we will have to look at any other further triggers. Yes, these minor factors, that some swaps in the budget, some EU trade deal, maybe something which softens the tariff rate between India and America may help. But the core is earnings. So if you look at the index, the large index in terms of the Sensex in the last 2 years, the returns are sub 8% now. Now, this is a very rare phase in the last 1 decade where you've got a 2-year earning less than 8%, barring that small period of COVID where, we had such low returns. So, though earnings are still not catching up, I believe that the earnings, if they are modest, anywhere between 12 and 14% this year, I think we should see a strong recovery happening in the second half. Otherwise, with the Trump mania that's going on in terms of capturing Venezuela issue, the Greenland issue, I think market is in for a rough patch.
Right. Many thanks, Mr. Subramaniam. We also have market expert Sunil Shah joining us on the phone line. Mr. Shah, this is the EU-India free trade agreement, the largest one as it's touted to be, and offering preferential access to all 27 EU member states through a single framework. But what does really India stand to, really gain from this if it materializes?
Well, very positive. Look, China, their trade with US has gone down by almost 19%. But overall, if you see, China is extending their record-breaking trade surplus. This year, for calendar year 25, they closed with 1.2 trillion. What it suggests and what it indicates that if US is not the market, focus on other markets, de-risk yourself, don't concentrate. So I think this is the beginning. You do not have everything on the very first day. The thing is that this after UK deal, this EU deal, and many more to come by, you will de-risk, and this will, I would say, improve the sentiment. It will correct the sentiment, and things I see as a very positive thing.
Right. Mr. Sunil Shah, many thanks for joining us with your reaction on that big development that is coming in as far as the FTA between EU and India is concerned. Viewers, all right, viewers, we sip into a very, very short break, but on the other side, we get you 6 stories at 6 with my colleague Tanisha, and what's in store for 7:30, we'll tell you all on that, much more. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere.
It's a shameful state of affairs as far as Indian sports are concerned, and a sorry state of affairs for our athletes. In the latest, our top pole vaulters were thrown off a train and they were not let to travel with their equipments for their own championship. In fact, we will tell you what the pole vaulters told Republic TV. Also on Trending tonight, we bring you the big revelation that has been made by Brooklyn Beckham. He has gone all guns blazing against his parents David and Victoria Beckham. He has broken his silence on the family feud. And also, we tell you about Trump's latest ambitions as far as Greenland, but also Canada is concerned. Yes, he shares an AI-generated map which shows Greenland and Canada as part of American territory. Not just that, he has also threatened tariffs on French wines, and then he goes on to leak messages from President Macron. All that and much more on Trending tonight with me, Rakshita Mishra, at 7:30 p.m.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा,
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Avasthi. Let's get started with the stories that have set the agenda for today. First up, India's leading champions thrown off a train and deboarded. They are the ones who have represented nation overseas and have now been subjected to harassment. Meanwhile, there is a scathing expose on widespread negligence across India. No part of India has been untouched by negligence, and we have started the biggest public campaign on the same. Progress for people is what Republic is fighting for. The Prime Minister, meanwhile, has given a strong warning against infiltration, and we get you details on that. Meanwhile, the Karnataka sleaze controversy is only getting bigger, and to note here that this is not the first time when Karnataka DGP has had first brush with controversy. Tamil Nadu Governor and MK Stalin are at loggerheads yet again, with the first assembly session of Tamil Nadu of the year witnessing a huge drama. And finally, we get you the story on how Trump is facing massive pushback over his bid to take over Greenland. These 6 stories, starting first up with the top story that we have lined up for you on this edition. 2 of India's decorated track and field athletes, Dev Meena and Kuldeep Yadav, both national champions and international medalists who have represented India overseas, were subjected to harassment. This while travelling by train. What should have been a routine transit turned into a humiliating ordeal. At Panvel station in Mumbai, the station master allegedly asked the international medal winning athletes to deboard, objecting to the pole that they were carrying, essential sporting equipment, remember, for professional athletes. The athletes were then forced to pay a fine, following which they were allowed to proceed. More in this report.
They are not just ordinary passengers. They are India's pride. 2 of India's decorated track and field athletes, leading pole vaulters Dev Meena and Kuldeep Yadav. Yet for Dev Meena and Kuldeep Yadav, a simple train journey turned into public humiliation.
मैं जरा ना इनका कितना होता है देख क्या तुम
हमारी ट्रेन में छूटे महोदय बस
नहीं छूटेंगे सर आप जा सकते हैं गाड़ी में लेकिन ये आपका जाएगा नहीं
फिर क्या हमें उसको बता दीजिए क्या करना है
सेफ कस्टडी में रहेगा यहाँ पे आप बाद में आगे सर जो भी है इधर
अरे तेरी गाड़ी में टाइम है ओए दादा भाई तेरी गाड़ी में बहुत टाइम है
मेरा नाम देव मीना है। मैं इंडिया का नेशनल रिकॉर्ड होल्डर प्लेयर हूँ और हाल ही में मैंने अभी नया नेशनल रिकॉर्ड बनाया है। ये मेरे साथ में कुलदीप है, इसने भी अभी हम यूनिवर्सिटी खेलने आए हैं और अभी हम महाराष्ट्र में महाराष्ट्र के पंडेल रेलवे स्टेशन पे। यहाँ पे हमारे ना मतलब यहाँ पे हमको जो टीटी है सीनियर टीटी उन्होंने मतलब हमारे पोल देख लिया और यहाँ पे हमको मना करते हैं कि आप लोग नहीं जा सकते हो। मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान किए यहाँ पे और हमारी एक ट्रेन छूट चुकी है ऑलरेडी। हमने मतलब हमको 4 से 5 घंटे यहाँ पे बिठा के रखा पूरे बहुत परेशान हो चुके हैं यहाँ पे। मतलब हर एक एथलीट अगर हमारे साथ ये चीज़ हो रही है तो मतलब मैं अपने जूनियरों से क्या एक्सपेक्ट करूँ कि मतलब उनके साथ क्या होता होगा। अगर एक एथलीट का मतलब एक इंटरनेशनल एथलीट के साथ ये चीज़ें अभी भी हो रही है इंडिया में तो आगे में क्या ही बोलूँ।
और हमारे यहाँ मतलब जो यहाँ के इंचार्ज जो सीनियर टीसी इंचार्ज है RK वर्मा सर और उनको सीनियर TCM का ऑर्डर था कि ये लोग को 4 से 5 घंटे बैठा के रखो और ये जब तक फाइन नहीं भरते हैं तब तक इनको जाने नहीं दिया जाए। और यहाँ हम लोग 4-5 घंटे वेट करके अभी हम लोग अपना पोल दूसरी ट्रेन में लाते हैं। हम लोग फाइन भर दिए अभी 5 घंटे बाद उन्होंने बोला कि बिना फाइन के इनको मत छोड़ो, कुछ भी हो जाए इनको बैठा के रखो। और हम लोग इंडिया के खिलाफ दोनों पोल वॉल्टर रहे तो पोल वॉल्ट इवेंट किया तो इंडियन रेलवे कुछ ऐसा मतलब व्यवस्था चालू करे जिससे हमारा।
और ये कोई नई बात नहीं है, ये तो हमेशा से ऐसे ही होता आ रहा है। मतलब ये कोई नई चीज़ नहीं है। मैं चाहता हूँ कुछ कोई तो कुछ करो इस चीज़ के लिए।
Travelling from Bengaluru to Panvel in Mumbai, en route to Bhopal, the 2 pole vault champions were forced to deboard at Panvel station. Their fault? Carrying the very equipment that is crucial for their sport, the pole. Despite repeated explanations, railway officials allegedly snapped back, "Call whoever you want, we don't care who you are."
मेरा नाम देव मीना है। मैं इंडिया का नेशनल रिकॉर्ड होल्डर प्लेयर हूँ और हाल ही में मैंने अभी नया नेशनल रिकॉर्ड बनाया है। ये मेरे साथ में कुलदीप है, इसने भी अभी हम यूनिवर्सिटी खेलने आए हैं और अभी हम महाराष्ट्र के पनवेल रेलवे स्टेशन पे। यहाँ पे हमारे ना मतलब यहाँ पे हमको जो टीटी है सीनियर टीटी, उन्होंने मतलब हमारे पोल देख लिया और यहाँ पे हमको मना करते हैं कि आप लोग नहीं जा सकते हो। मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान किए यहाँ पे। और हमारी एक ट्रेन छूट चुकी है ऑलरेडी। हमने मतलब हमको 4 से 5 घंटे यहाँ पे बिठा के रखा हूँ। पूरे बहुत परेशान हो चुके हैं यहाँ पे। मतलब हर एक एथलीट, अगर हमारे साथ ये चीज़ हो रही है तो मतलब मैं अपने जूनियरों से क्या एक्सपेक्ट करूँ कि मतलब उनके साथ क्या होता होगा। अगर एक एथलीट के मतलब एक इंटरनेशनल एथलीट के साथ ये चीज़ें अभी भी हो रही है इंडिया में, तो आगे में क्या ही होता है।
और हमारे यहाँ मतलब जो यहाँ के इंचार्ज जो सीनियर टीसी इंचार्ज है RK वर्मा सर, और उनको सीनियर TCM का ऑर्डर था कि ये लोग को 4 से 5 घंटे बैठा के रखो और ये जब तक फाइन नहीं भरते तब तक इनको जाने नहीं दिया जाए। और यहाँ हम लोग 4-5 घंटे वेट करके अभी हम लोग अपना पोल दूसरी ट्रेन में लाते हैं। हम लोग फाइन भर दिए। अभी 5 घंटे बाद उन्होंने बोला कि बिना फाइन के इनको मत छोड़ो, कुछ भी हो जाए इनको बैठा के रखो। और हम लोग इंडिया के साथ दोनों पोल ऑल्टर रहे, तो पोल ऑल्टीमेट लिया तो इंडियन रेलवे कुछ ऐसा मतलब व्यवस्था चालू करे जिससे हमारा।
और ये कोई नई बात नहीं है, ये तो हमेशा से ऐसे ही होता आ रहा है। मतलब ये कोई नई चीज़ नहीं है। मैं चाहता हूँ कोई तो कुछ करो इस चीज़ के लिए।
Officials allegedly demanded an rupees 8,800 fine, saying the poll was oversized. But after prolonged arguments and negotiations, rupees 5,000 was finally paid.
मतलब बहुत बहस हुई, बहुत हमने बाहर उनसे ट्राई किया कि बोले ऊपर से ऑर्डर है। हमने बोला ऊपर वाले के एक बार आप नंबर दे दो या फिर कुछ कांटेक्ट डिटेल बता दो हम, ताकि उनसे बात कर सकें। ना उन्होंने कुछ कांटेक्ट डिटेल बताया, ना ही कुछ किया। लेकिन बस वो उनको पैसे चाहिए थे। वो फाइन काटने का बोल रहे थे। और यही सब सर, इतना मतलब इतनी सारी परेशानियों के बाद में फिर हमने उनको जैसे तैसे फाइन भरा, जिसमें हमारी एक ट्रेन छूटी और फिर हमने शाम को दूसरी ट्रेन ली। और उन्होंने फाइन काटा तो ठीक है, लेकिन जो फाइन में उन्होंने लिखा 80 kg वेट, 80 kg के तो सर हमारा पोल ही नहीं होता, क्योंकि हम लेके उसको भागते हैं। वो तो मे भी 1 किलो का होता है सर पोल, ज़्यादा भारी भी नहीं होता वो।
Athletes who bring medals for the nation left pleading at a railway station, bargaining for dignity.
हम थोड़ा विस्तारित करके आज हम बात कर रहे हैं। मैंने रेल मंत्री जी को भी लिख रहा हूँ कि केवल इसी खेल के नहीं, बाकी खेलों के भी यदि इक्विपमेंट खिलाड़ी साथ में लेके जाते हैं तो रेलवे की तरफ से ये इंस्ट्रक्शन हो। हाँ, यदि किसी यात्री को दिक्कत है तो बात अलग है, इसमें किसी यात्री को दिक्कत भी नहीं थी, तो हम लिख रहे हैं। मुझे लगता है रिजॉल्व हो जाएगा।
जैसे टीटी जो थे उन पर एक्शन होना चाहिए, क्योंकि उन्होंने दुर्भावनापूर्ण महाराष्ट्र में इस तरह
रेलवे को लिखा है, अब रेलवे ये निर्णय लेगा।
From problematic sporting infrastructure wherein international stadiums are seen in questionable situations to national level athletes being harassed. India wants Olympic glory. India wants global medals. But are we willing to give our athletes basic respect, safety and dignity?
And in a scathing expose on widespread negligence across India, recent incidents highlight systematic failures in infrastructure and public safety, from contaminated water in Indore causing distress among families to the collapse of sports facilities like Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Stadium, the roof caving in an IGI airport and a newly built bridge crumbling in Bihar, potholes plaguing Bengaluru roads and rats infesting a hospital ward in Gonda. No region has remained untouched by such lapses, as underscored by the tragic death of a 27-year-old techie, Yuvraj Mehta, in Noida, where a special investigation team today arrived to extract his car from the ditch for forensic analysis amid the ongoing probe. The builder has been arrested, ladies and gentlemen. However, these developments spotlight unchecked hazards that turn warnings into fatal traps, urging a rejection of labeling negligence as mere accidents.
Water contaminated in Indore. Collapsing sports infrastructure in the national capital. IGI airport's roof collapses. Newly constructed bridges collapse in Bihar. Pothole menace in Bengaluru. Rats inside hospital wards in Uttar Pradesh's Gonda. No part of India is untouched by negligence. And now, a 27-year-old techie in Greater Noida killed by negligence.
Right behind me, if you can see, there is the NDRF team that is deployed.
that is the exact location where the vehicle has been identified, where the vehicle has been spotted. Now efforts are being made to actually tie up the vehicle so that it can be pulled up by the crane that has also been deployed at the same spot.
The SIT team today reached Noida, where the car involved in the accident is now being taken out for forensic examination. As the probes intensify, action has taken place with the builder named in the case. Abhay Kumar, owner of MZ Wish Town, has been arrested by the police. Even as the focus remains on accountability, a new twist has emerged from the ground. Video from earlier shows how a truck had rammed in the same spot. Watch this video. Yuvraj was the second victim. The developments have once again turned the spotlight on systemic negligence. Despite clear warning signs, the hazard was left unattended, turning the location into a deadly trap. Don't let negligence be rebranded as an accident.
And moving on to a story that's making headlines in Karnataka. Karnataka's Director General of Police K. Ramachandra Rao finds himself at a center of a major scandal after a video surfaced allegedly showing him engaging in obscene acts with women inside government premises. This has prompted widespread outrage and his immediate suspension by the state government. Now, Karnataka DGP had vehemently denied the allegations, claiming that the video was AI generated 8 years ago from his time in Belagavi and part of a conspiracy to tarnish his reputation, while Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has ordered a thorough inquiry and promised disciplinary action regardless of the officer's seniority, emphasizing that no one is above the law. This is not former Karnataka DGP's first brush with controversy. Here's why.
Karnataka DGP is in the eye of a storm. A video shows the DGP shamelessly indulging in obscene acts with women while sitting inside the government premises. A top police official inside the government office in Karnataka. Now the DGP is trying to save his face. He claims that the video is AI generated and is 8 years old from the time he was posted in Belagavi. He further claims that it is a conspiracy to malign his image.
ಹಳೆಯದಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಅದು 8 ವರ್ಷ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಲ್ಗಾಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಇದು ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಶಾಕಿಂಗ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಬ್ರಿಕೇಟೆಡ್, ಸುಳ್ಳು ಇದು. ಆ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೇನು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಇದು, ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ.
ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತೀರಾ?
ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಈ ತರ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಹಬ್ಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಅದೇ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ.
Hours after, CM Siddaramaiah said that he would put an inquiry against the DGP.
ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ನನಗೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಶಿಸ್ತಿನ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. ಶಿಸ್ತು ಕ್ರಮ ಜರುಗಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಎತ್ತರದ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಕಾನೂನಿಗಿಂತ ಯಾರು ದೊಡ್ಡವರು, ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಶಿಸ್ತಿನ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅದನ್ನು ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ.
The Karnataka government has suspended the state DGP Ramachandra Rao.
A DGP level police officer's videos have surfaced in social media where he is exploiting, he is doing intimate acts with multiple women, and that too inside public police office. This is the state of affairs. Now there will be all kinds of excuses that will be made that this is AI, morphed, generated video. The fact of the matter is that in Karnataka under Congress's watch, the women's safety and security has gone to all-time low. If these things are happening inside a public office, imagine what is happening on the streets.
But the DGP is not new to controversies. He is the stepfather of Kannada film actor Ranya Rao, who is in Bengaluru Central Jail in a gold smuggling case. Ranya Rao seems to have used his stepfather DGP Ramachandra Rao's connections to evade security checks at airports. The embarrassment trail for the Karnataka police does not end here. The DGP was once heading a case where the police raided a premises, seized massive amounts of money, while also allegedly colluding with a businessman. But given the controversies, what if the DGP is a frequent offender? Why should a detailed investigation into the matter not be the top priority for the Karnataka government?
Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi today walked out of the assembly session as he declined to deliver an inaugural and opening address prepared by the MK Stalin-led DMK government in a fresh row. The Lok Bhavan had given a 13-point note and the walkout saying that the national anthem was insulted and alleged that the speech contained various inaccuracies and unsubstantiated claims. Here is a look at all that happened during the assembly session today.
Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi once again declined to read his speech and walked out of the Legislative Assembly without delivering the customary address. And this happened on the opening day of the first session of the year. Speaking exclusively to Republic, several leaders responded to the disrespectful act of the governor.
But today the way he acted or the way he presented himself was really disgusting, and it is really an attack on the constitution rather, because he cannot give a discourse in the assembly just like he is addressing a public gathering. The way he acted is really alarming, and we feel that it is an insult to the state of Tamil Nadu and the state assembly.
The state government, what we believe, intentionally adopting this strategy of fighting with the honorable governor. It is not the first time it is happening. And after governor left assembly, our honorable chief minister has out the prepared statement by saying that the customary right of the assembly has been broken by the honorable governor and they are not accepting it. And above all, he has ridiculed the position of the governor by saying the saying of Artigadadi.
He cited very flimsy reasons that national anthem should be sung in the beginning of the proceedings, but it's not so. It's a very well known fact that both at the union government offices and state government offices, that national anthem will be sung only at the end of the proceedings. So governor went against, not only the government, went against the principles of constitution, went against the assembly proceedings. By that he has insulted the 8 crore Tamil Nadu people because we are the representations for them.
The Tamil Nadu Governor Ravi also responded from the well of the House and expressed displeasure over the conduct of the proceedings. Later, Lok Bhavan also issued a statement alleging that the address contained unsubstantiated claims. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister also responded to the disrespectful act of the governor. CM Stalin stated that governor's actions are against the protocols of the assembly. This is not the first time when such an incident took place. Last year too, the governor walked out of the assembly, signaling a complete breakdown between the state and Raj Bhavan.
And in a momentous event for the Bharatiya Janata Party today, Nitin Nabin was officially declared as the party's new president, succeeding Jagat Prakash Nadda in what signals a significant generational shift. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Modi outlined the Saffron Party's future agenda, vehemently criticizing infiltrators as a threat to national security and demographic balance, vowing to expose parties shielding them for vote bank politics and emphasizing the need to send them back to prevent robbing the poor and the youth for opportunities. He also highlighted the rejection of urban Naxal and Maoist ideologies by the nation, underscoring their challenges to India's progress.
It's a big day for the Saffron Party. A generational shift that the Bharatiya Janata Party had been waiting for.
नितिन नवीन जी आगे बढ़ो
Nitin Nabin is the new president of the Bharatiya Janata Party, succeeding Jagat Prakash Nadda. After declaring Nabin party president, Prime Minister Modi addressed the top leaders and party cadres, highlighting the agenda of the Saffron Party in coming years. Speaking on the key issues, Prime Minister Modi raked up the issue of infiltration and demographic imbalance and said that the youth of the country will not be looted by infiltrators.
आज देश के सामने एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती घुसपैठियों की है, आबादी के असंतुलन की है। दुनिया के धनवान देश, समर्थ देश, वे भी अपने देश में जो घुसपैठिए हैं उनकी जांच पड़ताल कर रहे हैं और दुनिया उनको पूछती नहीं है कि तुम घुसपैठियों को क्यों निकाल रहे हो, तुम तो लोकतंत्र का झंडा लेकर के घूम रहे थे। कोई अपने देश में घुसपैठियों को स्वीकार नहीं करता।
Prime Minister Modi further highlighted the issue of Maoism and mentioned how the countrymen are rejecting the urban Maoist ideology.
एक और बड़ी चुनौती अर्बन नक्सल की भी है। अर्बन नक्सल का दायरा इंटरनेशनल हो रहा है और यह अर्बन नक्सल की बड़ी चतुराई होती है। अगर साल में एकाध बार भी अगर मोदी की किसी अच्छी चीज को उन्होंने ट्वीट कर दिया या टीवी पे बोल दिया या अखबार में लिख दिया तो उस पत्रकारी तो ऐसी फजेत कर देते, उसके पीछे ऐसे पड़ जाते हैं, उसको अछूत बना देते हैं, भविष्य में वो कभी बोल ना सके ऐसा कर देते हैं। ये अर्बन नक्सल की स्टाइल है।
The BJP has witnessed a major generational change in picking its party president. But big challenges lie ahead for Nitin Nabin, including making inroads in poll-bound Kerala, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal, and retaining power in Assam. The big question is, will Nabin prove to be a better successor?
And on to the final story that's making international headlines. United States President Donald Trump has triggered a fresh geopolitical debate with a proactive social media post on Truth Social. The image, which depicts Greenland as a future United States territory, has reignited questions about America's strategic ambition in the Arctic and the president's long-standing interest in the region. Here's more to the story.
A single image, but one that has stirred the hornet's nest. A cartoon shared by Donald Trump on Truth Social. The post shows the US president planting the American flag on Greenland alongside a sign declaring it a future US territory. This is not unfamiliar territory for President Trump. During his earlier term, he openly floated the idea of the US purchasing Greenland, which was rejected by Denmark. Greenland's importance goes far beyond symbolism. The Arctic island sits at a strategic crossroads, rich in rare earth minerals and increasingly vital as melting ice opens new shipping routes.
Greenland is very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen.
Critics say the post has stirred the hornet's nest, blurring the line between political messaging and foreign policy signaling. Danish leaders have repeatedly stated that Greenland is not for sale. As the United States, China and Russia eye the Arctic's future, even symbolic gestures carry weight. Another reason why he wants to set foot on Greenland is because he stated that he doesn't want Russia or China to be his neighbors. For now, the post remains a provocative signal rather than policy. But coming from the President of the US, it is unlikely to be dismissed as mere political theatre.
And that's all that we could pack in this edition of 6 Stories at 6. We will be back tomorrow, same time. Keep watching Republic. Coming up next after the break is Live and Breaking.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला
QS&THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े क्या निराला MDH मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला डिलीशियस हेल्दी एवरीडे
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it.
I will travel to India. There's still work to do, but we are on the cusp of a historic trade agreement. Indeed, some call it the mother of all deals.
European Union chief's big statement on the free trade agreement with India says both the sides on the cusp of historic trade pact, calls it mother of all deals. India's pole vaulter champions harassed and demoted from train, stopped from carrying a pole on the train. Major corruption scandal hits Stalin government ahead of the polls. 1,000 crore rupees kickbacks trail under scandal. ED evidence suggests Stalin government received bribes of up to 35 lakh rupees from candidates selected for government jobs. Top officers, engineers close to Stalin's minister named by Enforcement Directorate in corruption scandal. No word by the Chief Minister on money laundering. A young life has been lost due to the apathy that we have essentially seen coming in from the authorities. Talking about the 27-year-old techie who was returning home from work, landed in a pit, and in fact for hours put together was basically seeking help but received no help coming in from the authorities. In fact, Republic TV's investigation shows that there is a complete U-turn coming in the Noida techie death case, where the eyewitness now says that the police and administration made considerable efforts. Everyone arrived on time, and however, due to the darkness, no one could do anything. Now, reminder, he is also the same person who had previously said that no one had entered the water. He himself went in without hesitation, but by then it was too late. Now, in this new statement, he says that the police as well as the fire department were continuously trying to rescue the victim. Let me just quickly put this into perspective before I play out both the versions. The version that he had given to our reporter on Sunday, and now what he has to say. He is the same person who had initially claimed that immediate help was not provided, and in fact the young techie was left on his own. In fact, for several hours put together, he was essentially crying for help, and some basically refused to jump in because of freezing water. Now it seems there are some visuals now coming in. Let's go across to our reporters on the ground. This is the latest images of the vehicle that is now being taken out from the pit after the NDRF, SDRF and the local authorities are part of this entire operation, where you can see the crane that is being used to take out the vehicle, which is also going to be part of the investigation that is now being carried out. An SIT, a 3-member team, is basically looking into this entire matter. It is clear from the evidence that has come to light that it is death by negligence. The very fact that the young techie had made his first call to his father, where he sought help, saying that he wanted some help to be provided so that he could come out of this pit that you can see, which is completely filled with water. It seems that proper barricading wasn't really done. No signages were there, and when he was driving, there was dense fog, leading to a situation where they were unable to see anything. On your screens right now, these are the latest images coming in. Let me go across to Harsh as well as Saurav, take us through the details.
Yeah, Shravan, as you can see, the car is finally out here. And the police officials are segregating the crowd here, as the car is hanging from the crane, and we are sending you the live visuals from the spot where the 27-year-old techie died. This is the car of the same 27-year-old techie, which is out now after the 8-hour relentless work by the NDRF and the police authorities. Now they are successful in taking the car out from the ditch. And as far as the Mohinder is concerned, he has changed his tone, he has changed his statement after the police has grilled him yesterday, and he claimed that the police was working, authorities were working very fine, and now he doesn't have to do anything on that spot. Police and the NDRF had all the visuals, had all the equipments. There were no lack of equipment. This is the thing that the Moninder changed in his, the eyewitness changed in his statement. As you can see, in our VJ is showing that the car is being taken by the crane here, and the 27-year-old techie was in this car only. Now the car is finally out, which jumped into the ditch on Saturday early morning, and the techie was on the roof of this car only, and he could not be saved. He could not be saved by the authorities even after 2 hours. Even after 2 hours, he was standing at the roof of this car. He was not saved by the authorities, as the authorities did not have anything. There were lack of equipments. There were no rope. The rope was small. They could not send the rope to the techie. That is why the boy drowned in front of his father. You can see the visuals. I'm sharing the live visuals here. The car is now being put in the truck, and from here the police will take the car. The Republic is live from the spot. This is the car of the techie, which was being brought out by the NDRF team and the other police officials. After a relentless work of 8 hours, the car is finally out. Back to you.
Well, Saurav, I'll just request you to stay on with us while you gather more details. Let me just quickly take you through what we know so far. This was the Grand Vitara vehicle that was being driven by Yuvraj as he basically was trying to navigate his home through the darkness and thick fog that was past midnight on Sunday. In fact, his car that you see right now on your screens, which have now been finally taken out by the authorities, plunged into a water-filled pit. It was almost about 20 feet deep, and that is the reason why, in fact, it has taken some considerable amount of time for the authorities to take the vehicle out. Yuvraj, in fact, the moment his car plunged into the water, he called his father for help. That was the first call that he made. In fact, it turns out from some of the videos that have been accessed by Republic TV, he in fact flashed his phone's flashlight to indicate his location. It does appear from the preliminary investigation that he did everything he could. Now, it was essentially a rescue operation that actually failed him. Ultimately, it was pitch dark. It was January's cold water that essentially swallowed a helpless Yuvraj, who was barely a kilometer away from his home. The shocking aspect is also the first responder's statement, who had first spoken to Republic TV on Sunday evening, where he said that there was an immediate rescue operation that was carried out. In fact, this incident happened a little after midnight. Until about 2:30 or 3:30 is when this entire operation failed completely. In fact, they did not even reach the spot with the necessary equipments. Now, that was the first statement that was given by the responder at that point in time, Mohinder, with whom we spoke on Sunday. Today, it seems that following questioning that has been done by the Noida police, it seems that he has now changed his version by saying that all possible help was actually provided. Now, the locals have said that the pit, which was basically dug up for the construction of a mall, has been lying unattended for over 3 years. Now, after the project was essentially abandoned, and since then, rainwater, sewage from nearby residential societies have all been accumulating in that particular area. In fact, if you look at these images that have been accessed, we're going to put that out in a short while from now. But before that, let me also go across to my colleague Harsh, who's joining us on this broadcast. Harsh, walk us through the details that you're picking up. It has taken some considerable amount of time for the authorities to take the vehicle out. Well, we'll try and reconnect with Harsh in a short while from now. As we speak right now, this is the Noida authorities now finally being able to take out the vehicle that was being driven by Yuvraj, 27-year-old Yuvraj, who was on his way back from work. He was barely about a kilometer away from his home when this tragic incident actually took place. Now, it is quite clear that this unattended pit, without much barricading, and more importantly, where rainwater, sewage, all had been accumulating for years put together. Now, despite multiple complaints that were actually filed, it seems that there was no action that was taken by the authorities. In fact, Harsh, my colleague, is joining us on this broadcast. Harsh, walk us through the details that you're picking up.
Right in front of the truck where that car has been pulled. This was the same car that was driven by Yuvraj on the very day. This seems to be a Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara. The front of the car seems to be completely damaged. The sunroof of the car is damaged. the windshield of the car is damaged. This might be probably because of the frontal impact that car might have witnessed on the very day. This car has been pulled out after nearly 8-9 hours of constant efforts by the teams of the NDRF. It's now finally put on the truck and it's been taken away from here. Now this is the same car that Yuvraj was driving on that day. Yuvraj might have made all efforts possible to get out of the car. That is probably why, because the car's windshield seems to be completely damaged. The car's sunroof seems to be open and damaged. The front part of the car is also damaged. The truck is now taking away the vehicle. These are the visuals we are getting right here from the accident spot at Noida Sector 150.
Well, in fact, that's my colleague Saurav reporting live from Sector 150, where the tragic incident took place on Sunday. In fact, now the authorities days later have now taken out the Grand Vitara car which was being used by Yuvraj. In fact, the incident took place a little after midnight when he was barely a kilometer away from his residence. And from the investigation that has been carried out, it appears that because of dense fog, he was unable to navigate in the area, and his car plunged into the pit, which was filled with water. At least 20 feet deep is the pit, is what we are picking up right now. And it is quite clear from the fact that this entire operation has taken some good amount of time. Harsh is also joining us on this broadcast. Can we get Harsh on this broadcast and not Saurav is also going to join us from another vantage point. Harsh, walk us through the details that you're picking up, because it seems there is a major twist that has taken place. The eyewitness here, the first responder who spoke to Republic TV on Sunday, had one version to say. Now it seems that following the questioning that has taken place, he has done a volte-face.
Shravan, can you please repeat your question?
Can you just walk us through the details right now, and more importantly also just help us understand why this sudden change in the version that has come out from the first responder? He spoke to us on Sunday telling us that rescue operations did not start immediately. Now he's saying that all possible help was extended.
Well, right, Shravan, we have been reporting, the team of Republic has been reporting from the accident spot continuously for the past 3 days. It's been the third day we were here at the spot. You just saw the car being taken away by the authorities after nearly 9 hours of efforts to pull it out. Now coming up to the witness account that has now seemed to be changed. It might be probably because of the constant authoritative action that has now come into play, the political action that can now be seen on the accident spot, right from the MP to the teams of the NDRF to the top cops from the Uttar Pradesh police. Everyone seems to be very hyperly active after media started to report it quite actively. Now this can be a primary reason why the witness has changed his account. He might have been pressurized by the top authorities, including the cops from the Uttar Pradesh police, including the teams of the NDRF and the fire officials, who completely failed on the very day to save the young 27-year-old techie when his car went inside the drain. This might be the reason why now the witness, the eyewitnesses are being pressurized to change their account, because now the situation is completely under the media scanner. Everyone is watching, the world is watching that what level of incompetency happens right next to the national capital city of New Delhi.
Right.
When
in fact, we're just going to stay with these images now coming in from Sector 150. Now the vehicle has been taken out. It's now a part of the entire investigation that is to be carried out by the SIT, which has been formed by the Uttar Pradesh government. So far, in terms of the action that has been taken place, one is a junior engineer has been terminated and the CEO has been sacked. Let's put the focus right now on the eyewitness account that has come in, and there is a U-turn here.
मेरा नाम मोनिंदर, मैं नोएडा सेक्टर 150 के रहने वाला हूँ। हमारे यहाँ पे जो 16 तारीख को एक घटना हुई थी, अभी एक ज्यादा धुंध के कारण एक लड़का 27 साल वर्षीय रोड से सीधा तालाब में दागे गाड़ी लेकर, तो रोड में दागने के बाद जो किसी भी तरीके से पुलिस को पता चली, 15 मिनट के अंदर अंदर वहाँ पे पुलिस पहुंच गई। कुछ लोग मौजूद थे, उन्होंने पुलिस को कॉल की। 15 मिनट के अंदर पुलिस पहुंचने के बाद उसने, इतने ही मैं पहुंचता हूँ कुछ समय बाद, थोड़ी सी देर बाद ही, तो पुलिस अपनी कार्रवाई में लगी हुई थी। पुलिस उसे पूरा कोशिश कर रहे थे बचाने के लिए। फिर कुछ देर बाद ही SDR
Well, in fact, this is coming in from Hyderabad right now. BRS leader Harish has left after questioning. This is in the phone tapping scandal. A probe that is now being carried out by a team in Telangana. Charges that have been leveled against the then BRS government, that they were basically tapping the phone lines of several opposition leaders as well as police officers. In fact, from the initial report that was basically filed by the police, there's an indication coming in that the top echelons of the BRS government were basically involved in this entire operation that was basically carried out. The phone tapping case in which several BRS leaders have also been named. In fact, BRS has rejected the claims that have been made. BRS leader Harish Rao had also spoken a while back where he says the SIT notice in the phone tapping case was political harassment by the Congress government. In fact, he has now made his appearance before the SIT, which is basically looking into some of the charges that have been leveled. Well, in fact, the Telangana Police's SIT is probing the alleged phone tapping during the previous BRS regime. And on your screens right now, that's the former minister, Harish Rao, who has made an appearance before the SIT. In fact, he was issued a notice. He was, after all, the former IT minister who's made an appearance today. He is also the nephew of BRS President K. Chandrasekhar Rao. It's a 9-member SIT team which is being headed by the Hyderabad Police Commissioner, which is looking into all the allegations that have been leveled here, alleging that the police machinery was basically dancing to the tunes of the Congress government, is what Harish Rao had to say before he actually entered for the questioning. BRS's MLC Naveen Rao has also been questioned by the SIT, and the former Telangana Intelligence Chief T. Prabhakar Rao, who happens to be one of the prime accused in the case, has also been questioned by the SIT. Along with it, a suspended DSP of Telangana Special Intelligence Bureau was among the 4 police officials who were arrested by the Hyderabad police for allegedly erasing the intelligence information from various electronic gadgets, as well as for alleged phone tapping during the previous BRS regime. Now, this happens to be yet another flashpoint between the Congress government and the BRS in the state of Telangana, where a direct allegation has now been leveled by the Congress government that the BRS, when they were basically in power, had misused the power that they had. In fact, my colleague Aishwarya is joining us on this broadcast from Hyderabad. Aishwarya, the first appearance now being made by Harish Rao. Quickly take us through the details of the case that has been registered, and what is it that the SIT has found so far? Aishwarya, if you can hear me, just walk us through the details of the case that has been registered. The phone tapping case happens to be the latest flashpoint between the Congress and the BRS.
Yes, exactly. Today, Harish Rao was summoned for the first time in the phone tapping case after almost the case went on more than a year, and he's been summoned for the first time today. And the BRS is claiming political vendetta behind it because he has been summoned urgently and then someone was issued at 9 p.m. yesterday night, and he was asked to appear before the SIT urgently today morning at 11 a.m. And after almost more than 7 hours of the questioning was over.
Aishwarya, I'll just request you to stay on with us. Krishank Mane, BRS leaders joining us. Krishank, charges that have been leveled against the BRS government are serious in nature, but Harish Rao says that this is an attempt to harass the leaders. First, I want to ask you about some of the direct charges that have been leveled, that BRS members, they were basically aware of what was happening. Specific instructions were given by top leaders of the BRS to carry on phone tapping in the state.
Well, if that was the case, why would Honorable Supreme Court not entertain this case? Let me tell you that just 10 days ago, Supreme Court in this particular case has given a clean sheet to BRS leader Harish Rao. Why did this sit notice come up suddenly just when Harish Rao held a press meet? Day before yesterday, Harish Rao held a press meet on the coal scam here in Telangana, where two news channels have come out fighting out in open. They've accused the Deputy Chief Minister. One news channel, which is very close to Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, has accused Deputy Chief Minister of doing a coal scam. And the Deputy Chief Minister has openly in media accused of Chief Minister behind the story to attack the Deputy Chief Minister. So there is a infighting, just like how in Karnataka, Deputy CM versus Chief Minister. Here, for contracts, there are fights out in open between two news channels, a Deputy Chief Minister and the Minister. And when Harish Rao has demanded a CBI inquiry on this, overnight, in a case which already Supreme Court has given a clean sheet, night 9 o'clock they send a notice, say that you should arrive in the morning. So it clearly looked a political event, and this was same thing which was termed by the Honorable Supreme Court also. Supreme Court said that, look, this phone tapping looks like a political case, we are not going to entertain it. And now they are using this. I mean, see, when there are allegations, when there is a coal scam, shouldn't the government actually, come up and inquire on this coal scam? Rather than the opposition leaders who are questioning them, you try to bring sit on that. So this looks that absolute diversion tactic to protect the Deputy Chief Minister and the Chief Minister. Sit again, which is run by the state government, and since 2 years the same thing is going on like a web series. Not even an official statement till now by the SIT or anyone from the government that so and so this is the case, what is there in that, what facts are there in that. So whenever anyone raises against the ruling government, brings out a scam of theirs, bring out a corruption for theirs, immediately the SIT comes and gives a notice. We are not worried about this grilling at all. 8 hours, they've tried to ask questions, but Harish Rao, who's a seasoned politician, who has handled all these Congress cabinet ministers single-handed in assembly, has definitely taken care of this SIT officers questioning also. We will continue to fight, but one thing, law should not be selective. Today when you have called Harish Rao for the SIT, we will continue to demand that when the Deputy Chief Minister in media has
Krishank,
said...
if I may ask you, the Supreme Court has basically allowed for the custodial interrogation of T. Prabhakar Rao. So the question is that while the Supreme Court also makes a reference about the fact that the intent of the government, that has certainly been questioned by the Supreme Court, but it has also allowed the custodial interrogation of T. Prabhakar Rao.
Well, those officials, I mean, the custody or the prosecution or the investigation is going on, and that is why, as a law-abiding citizen, today our MLA Harish Rao has cooperated. Though we know that this is politically motivated, though we understand that the Congress government is trying to divert their issues, though we understand that the Congress doesn't want people here in Telangana or the media across India should talk about their scams, their corruption. They are trying to divert this issue, but nevertheless, we are cooperating. I mean, you see, midnight you send a notice to an elected representative. He is not a bank fraud running away from this nation. He is not a terrorist. He is an elected representative, 7 times undefeated MLA. So Overnight, suddenly, why do you have to give a notice and say that morning you have to appear? Why was it so necessary? Why did it happen so much in haste? And that too after a day when he has raised the coal scam, when he has exposed how Singareni coal mining scam, where Revant Reddy is directly handing over contracts to his brother-in-law Srujan Reddy, when this has been questioned, well, why shouldn't the Congress government answer? 24 hours, none of the Congress minister has answered. Deputy Chief Minister himself has said that a news channel has attacked me on the behest of Chief Minister. Shouldn't this be investigated? Why should law only target
Krishnan,
Harish Rao?
Well, thank you very much for getting us the BRS perspective here, because this appears to be the latest flashpoint between the Congress government and the BRS in the state of Telangana. This image is now coming in from Hyderabad after former Minister Harish Rao made his appearance before the SIT.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against the Khamenei regime. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Iranians to keep protesting and take over institutions, and has assured them that help is on the way.
Well, no, they're starting to, it looks like, and there seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed. These are violent, if you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. And they won't even.
এই মুহূর্তে মুখ্যমন্ত্রী মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়, মুখ্যমন্ত্রী দিদি কি বলবেন? দিদি কি বলবেন? দিদি কি বলবেন? দিদি দিদি কি বলবেন? দিদি 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 এই মুহূর্তে কি বলবেন? মুখ্যমন্ত্রী মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় আইপ্যাকের সহ প্রতিষ্ঠাতা কর্ণধার প্রতীক জৈনের বাড়িতে মুখ্যমন্ত্রী মমতা বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায় প্রবেশ করলেন।
Thank you for joining us on Republic. On This Is Exclusive today, ladies and gentlemen, we've decided to just dedicate the show to stories that we have been tracking exclusively, and these are stories that relate to you and me. Progress for the People is a campaign that we've been carrying out here on Republic, and on the show, on top of 7 p.m, we are speaking to the athletes whose videos have gone viral. First up, here are the headlines on This Is Exclusive. There's a big twist in the Noida techie drowning case in Uttar Pradesh. The Eyewitnesses changes a version. Is he under pressure from the police and the administration in Uttar Pradesh? India's pole vaulters, champions, medalists harassed, deboarded from a train, stopped from carrying their pole on the train. A major corruption scandal hits the Stalin government ahead of the elections. 1,000 crore kickbacks trail under scanner. Enforcement Directorate note accessed by Republic.
India. There's still work to do, but we are on the cusp of a historic trade agreement. Indeed, some call it the mother of all deals.
Is the mother of all deals on the plan when Ursula von der Leyen comes to India on the 26th of January? In a few days from now, she drops a big hint. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a top story for us here at Republic. In fact, we've dropped all stories to focus on stories that matter to you and me, stories that matter to the people. Progress for the People, a campaign that we are carrying out here on Republic TV. And one such story came to us from Panvel, just outside of Mumbai in Maharashtra. This is a video of India's pole vaulters and their team. Dev Meena, Kuldeep Yadav, who represent India, who've been record-breaking athletes. They break their own records each time in pole vault. And they represent India in different competitions across the world. And when they were traveling from Bengaluru to Bhopal, they had to make a stopover in Panvel. And here's what happened. They were stopped, and the railway official reportedly asked them to take their pole off the train, and they were asked to pay a fine. Now, these athletes have gone on record. They spoke to Republic TV. They say that they've traveled across the country in trains, and they have never had to face this kind of a treatment. But what really changed in the last few days? They're joining us live on This Is Exclusive. Dev Meena. Dev Meena is joining us live. Dev Meena was there. He's a medal-winning athlete for India. Dev Meena and Kuldeep Yadav दोनों हमारे साथ हैं. Dev Meena जी, मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको? कुलदीप यादव, आवाज आ रही है?
जी सर, जी सर.
अभी आपके स्टोरी हमने दिखाया और रेलवे से तुरंत एक मैसेज आ गया कि सर ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है.
ये फाइन जो बोल रहे हैं हमने, फाइन, ये फाइन नहीं था, ये जो एक्स्ट्रा बैगेज है, एक्स्ट्रा लो लगेज है, उसके लिए भरना था, इनका कहना ये है। उनको आप क्या जवाब देंगे देव मीना जी?
सर एक्स्ट्रा लगेज सर, उसका वेट सर 20 केजी था सर, उन्होंने उसमें पुट किया था सर 80 केजी सर। सर ये तो गलत है सर, फिर उन्होंने फिर 80 केजी क्यों उसमें वेट पुट किया सर? उसका वेट तो सर 20 केजी आना था ना सर। वो 10 पोल थे सर, एक पोल का वेट 2 केजी होता है सर। 10 पोल थे सर, वो 20 केजी वेट आना था सर। इन्होंने एक्स्ट्रा मतलब, और स्पोर्ट्स इक्विपमेंट तो मेरे हिसाब से सर लेना नहीं चाहिए, फिर कोई सा रूल होना चाहिए ऐसा कि स्पोर्ट्स इक्विपमेंट का कहीं भी ले जा ला सके, क्योंकि सर बहुत महंगा सामान आता है सर ये, और ये चीज हर बार सर हम इसको अपने साथ ही ट्रेवल करते हैं सर लेकर।
हाँ जी, नहीं मैंने देखा वो लंबा जो पोल है, दे आर बोथ पोल वॉल्टर्स, बाय द वे लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, दे रिप्रेजेंट इंडिया इन ग्लोबल कॉम्पिटिशंस। आप कुलदीप यादव, हाउ मेनी मेडल्स, कितने मेडल्स आपने जीते हैं भारत के लिए? थोड़ा बताइए हमारे दर्शकों को, और देव मीना जी भी बताएंगे, बिकॉज लोगों को एक आइडिया जाना चाहिए उनको कि आपके साथ क्या हुआ, और हमारे एथलीट्स को जो ट्रीटमेंट मिलता है उसका सच लोगों को सुनना है। कुलदीप
सर, अभी मतलब हमने 2022 में मैंने यूथ एशिया में ब्रॉन्ज मेडल जीता था, और हम लोग गोवा नेशनल गेम्स में देव मीना फर्स्ट था, मैं सेकेंड था, और उत्तराखंड में ये जो इस साल नेशनल गेम्स हुआ था पिछले साल, उसमें भी देव मीना फर्स्ट था, मैं थर्ड था। तो मैं ऑल इंडिया यूनिवर्सिटी गया था, उसमें मैंने मीट रिकॉर्ड किया, ऑल इंडिया यूनिवर्सिटी रिकॉर्ड। तो उस भी मतलब सर हम लोगों ने टोटल 20 मेडल आई थिंक जीते हैं, 2 इंटरनेशनल, एक कोरिया में इंटरनेशनल पोल वॉल्ट मीटिंग था, उसमें मैंने सिल्वर मेडल जीता था। और देव के नाम इंडिया नेशनल रिकॉर्ड है। तो हम लोग मतलब अगर एक अच्छे एथलीट हैं, फिर भी हमने बहुत रिक्वेस्ट किया सर कि हमारा मतलब ऐसे हम लोग कई सालों से सर ट्रेवलिंग करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि हमने कोई पहली बार रेलवे में किया। तो हम लोग ऐसे सेम कई ले जाते हैं, कई सालों से छोटी मोटी प्रॉब्लम होती थी, हम लोग मतलब उन्हें बताता था तो लोग मान जाते थे। लेकिन इस बार ऐसा हुआ कि बोले कि नहीं, आज इस बार कुछ भी हो जाए हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे आपको, आप कोई भी हो आपको फाइन देना पड़ेगा। तो ऐसे मतलब बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम हुआ, तो हम लोगों ने सर नहीं, हम लोग तो ज्यादातर बातें मतलब कैसे भी मैनेज कर लेते थे, लेकिन इस बार ज्यादा हुआ, इसलिए हम लोगों ने बोला कि हम लोग आगे इसको बताएगा ताकि हमारे सभी को पता चले कि हमारे साथ क्या होता है। इतना टेक्निकल इवेंट है, हमारा इतना महंगा सामान है, इसलिए भी हम इसको बहुत सेफ्टी से, वो पाइप में जो दिख रहा है उसके अंदर पोल्स हमारे हैं सर, वो पाइप सेफ्टी के लिए हम लोग रखता है।
हाँ जी, नहीं आप नहीं देखिए, हम इसीलिए बात करें। देखिए 2 दिन पहले मैं आपको ये जो पॉलिटिक्स है उसमें मैं आपको खींचना नहीं चाह रहा हूँ, लेकिन 2 दिन पहले जो इंडिया ओपन का बैडमिंटन टूर्नामेंट चल रहा था, वहाँ पे भी बहुत सारे कंप्लेंट्स थे, और अभी जो स्पोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया है, वहाँ पे सिर्फ 2 दिन पहले 2 एथलीट्स का सुसाइड हुआ है। और अभी जो ये जो स्पोर्ट्स का जो कंडीशन है इंडिया में, इसके बारे में बात करना पड़ेगा ना। ये सभी अभी न्यूज़ में है, ऐसा नहीं है कि हम स्टोरी बना रहे हैं। देव मीना जी आपसे बात करना, बोथ ऑफ देम आर चैंपियन एथलीट्स, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, बोथ ऑफ देम आर चैंपियन पोल वॉल्टर्स फॉर इंडिया हु ब्रेक देयर ओन रिकॉर्ड्स। आपने अपने रिकॉर्ड को खुद ब्रेक की है ना देव मीना जी? आपके रिकॉर्ड के बारे में थोड़ा बताइए हमारे दर्शकों को।
सर मैंने खुद का ही रिकॉर्ड 3 बार ब्रेक किया है सर, इन 1 ईयर। 2025 से मैंने खुद का रिकॉर्ड 3 बार ब्रेक किया है सर। अभी ऑफ सीजन पे हूँ सर मैं। उसके बाद सर अब बस ये कंपटीशन सर हमारा ओपन सीजन कर रहे थे सर, इससे हम कंपटीशन स्टार्ट कर रहे थे सर, मतलब इस साल का।
और उन्होंने क्या बताया, बोला आपको कि आप किसी को भी फोन कीजिए, आप कौन है, हम उससे मतलब नहीं होता है हमें, ऐसा चीज बोला क्या ये रेलवे ऑफिशियल ने आपको?
जी सर, बिल्कुल सर, उन्होंने ऐसे ही बोला था कि आप किसी को भी फोन करिए, आप कोई मतलब नहीं, मेरे को आप मतलब जो हमारे ऊपर से मेरे को ऑर्डर आया है कि आपका फाइन काटना है तो हमको काटना पड़ेगा। तो फिर सर वो पहले 8,000 रुपए ले रहे थे कि हमको ऊपर से ऑर्डर आया कि आपका इसका वो 8,000 का फाइन कटेगा। फिर एकदम से सर हमने उनको बोला कि सर थोड़ा कम ज्यादा कर लोगे, तो सर वो सीधे 2,000 पे आ गए सर उसके बाद में।
अच्छा,
फिर 2,000 का उन्होंने फाइन काटा, और उसमें सर 80 केजी वेट पुट किया सर, तो उन्होंने वेट भी गलत पुट किया उसमें। हाँ। सर फिर फाइन काटा, लेकिन उसमें सर बहुत ज्यादा परेशान हो गए सर, सुबह से शाम हो गई हमको उस चीज में।
अच्छा और आप क्या बताना चाहते हैं, अगर सरकार से कोई देख रहा है इस ब्रॉडकास्ट को, और शायद देखेंगे ही। देव मीना जी पहले आप बताइए और उसके बाद कुलदीप।
सर मैं तो यही चाहता हूँ सर, कुछ ऐसा रूल हो जाए ताकि हम अपने स्पोर्ट्स इक्विपमेंट हर जगह ले जा और ला सकें, क्योंकि फ्लाइट में भी सर यही दिक्कत होती है सर, यही चीज हमको फेस करना पड़ता है, और ट्रेन में भी यही चीज फेस करना पड़ता है, ताकि कुछ ऐसा लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट मिल जाए या फिर कुछ ऐसा लीगल रूल लागू हो जाए कि हम उस चीज को बता सके कि हाँ ये स्पोर्ट्स इक्विपमेंट है, आप इसको जाने दीजिए, सरकार ने इसको कर दिया है प्रोवाइड, तो हम इसको ले जा सकते हैं सर।
नो ये सरकार आपका भरता नहीं है, ये आप जब ट्रैवल करते हो तो आपका खुद से पैसा भरना पड़ता है क्या? अगर आप भारत के लिए, अगर आप यू आर रिप्रेजेंटिंग इंडिया, आप खुद से पैसा देना पड़ता है कुलदीप?
सर हमारा मतलब हम लोग ये चाहते हैं कि अगर ये हमारा सामान मतलब कोई सिक्योर, एक पोल सर 2 लाख का और एक खिलाड़ी 4 पोल यूज करता है, हम दोनों मिला 7-8 पोल यूज करते हैं सर। तो अगर मतलब हम लोग को सर इस पोल के मतलब हमारे रेलवे में ऐसा कोई नियम, हम पैसे भी दे देंगे, कोई नहीं सर, बुकिंग कर देंगे, लेकिन वो पूरा 100% सिक्योर और टाइम से हमें मिल जाए सामान, तो हमें बुकिंग करने कोई दिक्कत नहीं सर। हमारा सामान सेफ्टी, मतलब अगर कोई टूटे तो उसका हमें पैसा भी मिलना चाहिए, तभी हम इतना अपना महंगा सामान 10-20 लाख का देंगे सर रेलवे को। हमें पैसे देने की दिक्कत नहीं सर, अगर कोई नियम लाए रेलवे, हम उसको मतलब पैसा पे कर दें कि हमारा सामान सेफ और मुझे सही जगह पे सही टाइम पे दे दे, ताकि हम सही टाइम पे बुकिंग कर लेंगे, हमें ऐसा कोई दिक्कत नहीं सर, हम खुद बुकिंग करेंगे, कोई नियम तो होना चाहिए सर।
हाँ जी,
ये तो हम खुद ले जाते हैं तो सर हम लोगों को कैसे भी ऐसा नहीं सर, हम लोग ऐसे ट्रेन में सीधा पोल डालने लगते हैं, पहले 4 लोग रहते हैं, 2 लोग सभी लोगों को समझाते हैं कि भाई हम लोग का स्पोर्ट अचीवमेंट है, आप लोग थोड़ा भैया साइड हो जाइए, हम लोग इसको ट्रेन में रखेगा, फिर 2 लोग अंदर जाकर पहले बताता है, फिर उसके बाद हम लोग इधर से लोड करता है पोल को, तो हम लोग उसका पूरा ध्यान रखते हैं कि किसी को कोई दिक्कत न हो। आज तक कोई पैसेंजर किसी ने कंप्लेन भी नहीं किया है सर।
नहीं, ये बहुत बुरा हाल है। ये स्पोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया कोई ऑफिशियल आपके साथ ट्रैवल नहीं करते हैं देव?
सर हमारी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की स्टेडियम है सर, हम वही हमको सारी चीजें प्रोवाइड करते हैं सर। हाँ सर, भोपाल में टिटनगर स्टेडियम है ना सर, वो लोग हमको सारी चीजें प्रोवाइड होती है सर। यहाँ से हमको पोल भी प्रोवाइड होते हैं, ट्रेन की टिकट भी सर, मतलब सारी चीजें यहाँ पे मिलती है सर हमको।
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we brought both these young athletes is because these are the 2 pole vaulters. If India has 2 leading pole vaulters, these are the 2 leading pole vaulters of India. एक गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट है और एक सिल्वर मेडलिस्ट है, करेक्ट? भारत के आप गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट है, आप सिल्वर मेडलिस्ट है, आप दोनों में से आप कंपटीशन आपके बीच में रहती है।
बिल्कुल सर, आपस में कॉम्पीट करते हैं। मतलब हम पहले दूर ट्रेनिंग करते हैं, लेकिन हम पास में ट्रेनिंग करने लगे हैं, ताकि एक दूसरे को कॉम्पीट करेंगे तो और परफॉर्मेंस बढ़ेगा, इंडिया के लेवल को और ऊपर ले जाएंगे, ओलंपिक्स तक ले जाएंगे।
हाँ जी, तो मेरा कहना ये था कि अगर हमारे चैंपियंस, हमारे गोल्ड विनर, हमारे गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट, हमारे सिल्वर मेडलिस्ट को ऐसे ट्रीटमेंट दे रहे हैं, तो देयर इज अ सीरियस प्रॉब्लम, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी डिसाइडेड टू गेट देम सो दैट दे टेल देयर स्टोरी। ओके, एंड थैंक यू देव, थैंक यू कुलदीप। मुझे पता है कि इसके बाद शायद आपको कोई कॉल करके शायद आपको बोलेंगे कि आपने मीडिया के पास क्यों गए, लेकिन आपका हक है। If we want to win gold medals, if we want our athletes to win and focus on performance and not squabbling with railway officials.
Yes.
और सर हमने मतलब उन्हें बोला भी था कि जैसे आप अगर हमारा नहीं, हम लोग मतलब पब्लिक करेगा, मीडिया को आप बोला कहीं भी बता दो, पहले फाइन भरो, नहीं बोल छोड़ो और जाओ। मैंने उन्हें बोला था कि अगर आप नहीं करोगे तो मतलब हमें इतना परेशान करोगे तो हम लोग इस बार मीडियम जाऊंगा, आप बोलो कहीं भी जाओ, हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, आप फाइन भरो फिर जा सकते। फिर इसीलिए हम लोग सोचा अगर अभी हम लोग टॉप एथलीट है इंडिया का, हम लोग बोलेगा तो आने वाले टाइम जूनियर को हेल्प होगा, क्योंकि अभी हम लोग तो एक सेंटर में है टॉप एथलीट, हम लोगों को कोई भी हेल्प करता है, जो हमारे जूनियर जिसका कोई जान पहचान नहीं, उनको तो बहुत ज्यादा दिक्कत होती है, कोई कुछ भी बोलेगा उन्हें देना पड़ेगा। हम लोग तो इसीलिए हम लोग सोचा कि हम लोग इस बात को उठाएगा आगे।
नहीं, अच्छा हुआ आपने बातचीत किया, अपना बहुत अच्छा हुआ कि आपने मीडिया में बात की है और रिपब्लिक से बात की है, और मेरा इच्छा ये है कि अगले बार जब हम बात करें आप एक मेडल जीते, और वी विल स्पीक नेक्स्ट व्हेन यू विन अ मेडल। होपफुली थिंग्स विल इंप्रूव। थैंक यू देव, थैंक यू कुलदीप, बातचीत करने के लिए हमारे साथ।
थैंक यू सर,
थैंक यू वेरी मच, ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट। Here's what the politicians are saying. This is the Madhya Pradesh sports minister speaking to the Republic. We confronted him on what was happening, if this is the state of affairs. Here's what he said. Sarang, speaking to the Republic.
पोल लेके जा रहे थे, हमारे इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर है, हमारे मध्य प्रदेश खेल विभाग के एकेडमी के प्लेयर्स हैं जो इंटरनेशनल लेवल के प्लेयर हैं, वो पोल लेके जा रहे थे तो उनको रोका गया। ये मामला संज्ञान में आया है और क्योंकि बिना पोल के तो खिलाड़ी ट्रेवल नहीं कर सकता, इनके खुद के व्यक्तिगत पोल रहते हैं जिससे ये कंपटीशन में हिस्सा लेते हैं। क्या स्थिति बनी, क्यों हुआ, इसके बारे में हमने यहाँ के रेलवे के अधिकारियों से बात भी की है और मैं माननीय रेलवे मंत्री जी से भी बात कर रहा हूँ, उनको पत्र लिख रहा हूँ कि इस पूरे को लेकर कोई ना कोई एक व्यवस्था जरूर बनाई जाए, क्योंकि जब खिलाड़ी जाता है तो वो अपने इक्विपमेंट तो रेल में लेके जाएगा ही, उसके लिए वो ज़रूरी है। तो आगे मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि रेलवे निश्चित रूप से संज्ञान लेगा और इसको लेकर एक कोई पॉलिसी, एक कोई ऐसी व्यवस्था बनेगी जिसमें आगे खिलाड़ियों को दिक्कत ना आए। हमने ये भी कहा है कि वो जो टीटी हैं जिन्होंने बिना कारण हमारे खिलाड़ियों को परेशान किया है, उनके बारे में भी संज्ञान लिया जाए।
घंटों परेशान हुए खिलाड़ी, उसके बाद उनका जो वजन था इक्विपमेंट का उससे ज्यादा चार्ज किया गया।
इसीलिए ये पूरा विषय में मुझे लगता है कि वो जो रेलवे के टीटी थे उन्होंने व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे लगता है गलती की है। तो हमने लिखा है, अधिकारियों को भी कहा है कि उनसे मालूमात की जाए और पूछताछ की जाए और ऐसी पुनरावृत्ति ना हो, इसकी व्यवस्था बनाए।
आपने एक पत्र भी लिखा था 30/1/2025 को डीआरएम को, जिसमें ये सुझाव दिया था कि जो पोल प्लेयर होते हैं उनका इक्विपमेंट ले आने के लिए उन्हें सहूलियत दी जाए। इसके बाद भी इस तरह की बर्ताव महाराष्ट्र में हुआ।
हम थोड़ा विस्तारित करके
Ladies and gentlemen, in Noida, Uttar Pradesh, there was a techie who fell into an open drain, drowned because officials did not do their job. And these were pictures of him flashing the torchlight from his car, which, by the way, has been removed finally today. In the last 2 days, successfully, we've been able to prove how this was a man-made disaster. Negligence led to the death of this techie in Noida. Today, finally, after 2 days, this car has been removed, but the story is not the car. The story is about a systemic cover-up of the truth. The Eyewitness, by the way, who spoke to Republic TV 2 days back and told Republic he was the first responder, he spoke about how nobody turned up, they were ill-equipped. And it appears that now he's under pressure. He's also told the media that he's under pressure. He was asked to change his version. And today he has changed his version, saying that the police and administration did a fantastic job. He is under pressure. Somehow politicians are trying to cover up, officials trying to cover up the negligence. Here's what he said Sunday and then today.
मेरा नाम मोनिंदर, मैं नोएडा सेक्टर 150 के रहने वाला हूँ। हमारे यहाँ पे जी 16 तारीख को एक घटना हुई थी। अभी एक ज्यादा धुंध के कारण एक लड़का 27 साल वर्षीय रोड से सीधा तालाब में दागे गाड़ी लेकर, तो रोड में दागने के बाद जो किसी भी तरीके से पुलिस को पता चली, 15 मिनट के अंदर अंदर वहां पे पुलिस पहुंच गई। कुछ लोग मौजूद थे, उन्होंने पुलिस को कॉल की। 15 मिनट के अंदर पुलिस पहुंचने के बाद उसने, इतने ही मैं पहुंचता हूं, कुछ समय बाद, थोड़ी सी देर बाद ही, तो पुलिस अपनी कार्रवाई में लगी हुई थी। पुलिस उसे पूरा कोशिश कर रहे थे बचाने के लिए। फिर कुछ देर बाद ही एसडीआरएफ, एनडीआरएफ, फायर ब्रिगेड सब ही समय पर पहुंच चुके थे। लेकिन ज्यादा धुंध होने के कारण तालाब में ना तो लड़का दिख रहा था ना गाड़ी दिख रही थी। लेकिन लड़का उन्होंने पूरी मशक्कत के बाद लगभग कुछ समय बाद ही उसे बहुत जल्दी रेस्क्यू कर लिया था लड़के को। नोएडा सेक्टर 150 की घटना है ये, 16 तारीख की रात की है जी।
Okay, Saurav is joining us live from that spot in Uttar Pradesh, Noida, Uttar Pradesh, where the techie drowned. Now, is there a pressure that is being now put by the police and administration? It appears that they're asking people to backtrack on their claims in the media.
Yeah, absolutely, Niranjan. Yesterday, Moninder, who is the eyewitness who spoke to the Republic on the first day of the event, on the first day of the incident, he was detained by the police for 2 hours yesterday. And after the detention, he came back. He told the Republic that the police and the NDRF teams were successfully doing their jobs. They were relentlessly working to save the techie. But still, Republic knows, as we had a word with him earlier the detention, he told that the police and the NDRF were standing still and they were watching the person die. The 27-year-old techie died due to the complete negligence of the authorities. The police was standing, NDRF team did not have the pump which was used to pump up the boat, and the police officials claimed that the water is too cold and they are not perfect swimmers. So is that a kind of reason which could be given to a father who is crying and pleading for help to the authorities to save his son? This is the statement. This was the Moninder was under total pressure of the police. That is why he changed his statement. And we have shown the visuals of Moninder speaking to the Republic earlier detention and after the detention. Back to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be debating progress for the people once again, because people want progress. Now, this is a story that we picked up, a campaign that we picked up last night on the debate with our editor-in-chief Arnab Goswami. He's going to be debating it once again. And we'd like you to also be a part of that debate. Send us your responses. Tell us what you think, whether it's the stadium in Delhi or the story of the athletes who are harassed on a train, or the eyewitnesses being coerced, or the pothole deaths that are taking place. We want you to speak up and join us on the debate. Once again, 9 p.m. tonight. Progress for the people is the big story. We have some more breaking news coming in. Let's go across straight to that. One more breaking news update coming in on this exclusive from Sabarimala, which is in Kerala. This breaking news update coming in of the key accused in the Sabarimala gold theft case. He's now been granted bail by a court. The bail has been granted due to delay in submitting charge sheet. Wow, the bail was granted due to the delay in the submission of the charge sheet. He remained in prison for 90 days. Unnikrishnan Potti, who is the main accused, granted bail because the charge sheet was not filed even after 90 days. So you talk about progress for the people. This is what people want. The legal judicial system and the executive and the judiciary. This is what we've debated earlier as well. There was a delay for 90 days. Delay in submitting the charge sheet. He's been in prison for 90 days and finally he's been let off on bail. On bail because charge sheet has not been submitted. We'll go across to Shankar. Unnikrishnan Potti was one of the key accused, was seen with key leaders of both the left and the Congress, reportedly linked to both Congress and the left. He was arrested, one of the first to be arrested in the Sabarimala gold theft case, and he's been granted bail due to delay in submission of charge sheet. He was the key accused, and in fact, in this case, even the Enforcement Directorate is conducting raids in different parts of the country, including in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, where the raids are ongoing. As early as this morning, we had the raids ongoing in the case, and this man, the main accused, has been granted bail because the charge sheet was not submitted. So let's get to you some more details of Unnikrishnan Potti. Ladies and gentlemen, Unnikrishnan Potti is one of the main accused in the Sabarimala gold theft case. And he was one of the first arrests to be made in the case. And he had claimed earlier that he was trapped. He was one of the jewelers as well. Let me go across to Shankar joining us live. Shankar, who was supposed to file the charge sheet? And who's to be blamed in this case when a technical issue is being used to grant bail?
No, actually, the official investigation team was supposed to submit the charge sheet before the court. However, we cannot blame police, the special investigation team, but there were a lot of procedures as part of the process going on, like the scientific examination of the gold-plated panels at the temple, and even today the special investigation team was busy collecting the samples from all the gold-plated panels and surrounding the main deity of the So actually, statutory bail must be granted by any court if charge sheet is not failed to submit a charge sheet in 90 days. In this case, the charge sheet was not submitted, but that doesn't mean he can come out of jail. As the bail was granted.
Okay, I have a bad audio line with you there. Sorry, Shankar, I have a bad audio line with you. I'll leave it at that. Sabarimala gold theft main accused has been granted bail on the technical ground that he's spent 90 days in prison and there's no charge sheet yet. Technical reason bail has been granted at a time when the investigation is at a crucial stage. You have raids ongoing as early as today, and he's been granted bail because charge sheet has not been filed. SIT started it. Different agencies now probing it. Let's see where the story goes. Progress for the people. Our campaign continues here on Republic TV. Join us at 9 p.m. on The Debate.
In 2017, we exposed the ISIS module with the ISIS sting tape. In 2026, Republic exposes the Kerala ISIS module. Arnab with the big debate investigation at 8 p.m.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Iran is boiling. Iranians are protesting against.
It's a shameful state of affairs as far as Indian sports are concerned, and a sorry state of affairs for our athletes. In the latest, our top pole vaulters were thrown off a train and they were not let to travel with their equipments for their own championship. In fact, we will tell you what the pole vaulters to Republic TV. Also on Trending tonight, we bring you the big revelation that has been made by Brooklyn Beckham. He has gone all guns blazing against his parents David and Victoria Beckham. He has broken his silence on the family feud. And also, we tell you about Trump's latest ambitions as far as Greenland, but also Canada is concerned. Yes, he shares an AI-generated map which shows Greenland and Canada as part of American territory. Not just that, he has also threatened tariffs on French wines, and then he goes on to leak messages from President Macron. All that and much more on Trending tonight with me, Rakshita Mishra, at 7:30 p.m.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
अरे टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी प्रोवुड का प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, लो एमिशन है, हाई डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी, टर्माइट एंड बोरो रेजिस्टेंट भी है। यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां।
प्रीमियम प्लस बाय सेंचुरी प्रोवुड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा मसाला। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी. What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं.
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा. रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने.
मुस्कुरा
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the stories that are breaking the internet, taking this social media by storm, raging viral online. And tonight, we're going to start with the bombshell that has been dropped on Instagram by Brooklyn Beckham, the eldest son of Victoria and David Beckham. He's broken silence on the family drama, blasting his star parents for allegedly controlling his life, troubling his wife. Also saying he does not intend to reconcile with them. And in his own words, all they care for is the brand Beckham. But what he has done is completely damaging the brand Beckham. We'll tell you about it. We also bring you another story of embarrassment to Indian sports. We're talking about the conditions of our own athletes. Forget the playing conditions, now the condition of our own athletes. Our champion pole vault players Dev Meena and Kuldeep Yadav were forced to deboard a train with their very sport equipment, the poles, and that are called unauthorized luggage. Next up is US President Donald Trump making headlines, this time over his own AI-generated map of America that shows Canada, Greenland and Venezuela as part of US territory. Lastly, we also have Prince Harry versus Daily Mail, and also we tell you about Trump versus Macron. There is now a threat of tariffs on wine, 200% on French wines that is looming, and the leaked texts of Macron that have been posted by Donald Trump. All that and a lot more on this edition of Trending Tonight with me, Rakshita Mishra. Now, the Beckham family feud, which has long been speculated and talked about, has now spiraled into a full-blown war, full-blown controversy. Brooklyn pelts Beckham, the eldest son of legendary footballer David Beckham and designer Victoria Beckham, has taken to Instagram, accusing in an explosive 6-page post that his parents of trying endlessly to ruin his relationship with his wife Nicola pelts Beckham and placing lies in the name of publicity. Now, Brooklyn went on to accuse his parents of controlling narratives in the press about the family and doing performative social media posts. He also notes that on several occasions, his family attempted to sabotage his relationship with his wife, including during his 2022 wedding and at his father's 50th birthday last year. He claimed his family values public promotion and endorsements above all else, that brand Beckham comes first for them. So let's straight away go to the claims that have been made that are nothing short of vehement. Brooklyn at first takes to social media to claim his parents have endlessly attempted to meddle with his relationship and marriage. Additionally, the accusations want to include how his family only cares for their reputation and not his individual happiness. He even alleges that his mother cancelled making his wife's dress at the nth hour, forcing Nicola to urgently find a new one at the last moment. And those explosive claims do not end there. He also called out his mother for hijacking his wedding dance, that she danced inappropriately with him, embarrassing him and his wife in front of 500 guests. And if that wasn't sufficient, ladies and gentlemen, he goes on to say that his mother also disrespected and slighted his marriage with Nicola by constantly inviting women from his past, intending to make him and his wife uncomfortable. He also goes on to allege that he had been facing controlling behavior from his parents all his life since he was a child, and now it signals a point of no return for the family, and he does not intend to reconcile with them. And in fact, these are the excerpts from his post. These are stories from Instagram, posts from Instagram, that Brooklyn finally breaks silence about his family feud and makes serious allegations against the star couple, his parents, David and Victoria Beckham. And now he says that he has had anxiety issues, that his mother was inappropriate with him, and also reportedly invited women from his past to make him and his wife uncomfortable, that they tried endlessly to even destroy their marriage. All right, viewers. Now we shift our focus to another story. It's a very distressing story, once again, from the world of sports. Hurdles faced by Indian athletes off the field. Incident involves fragile sporting equipment, the poles, that are worth lakhs of rupees, and they are the prime sporting equipment for our pole vaulters. They've sparked outrage across social media now, questioning India's readiness to support elite athletes as the nation sets its sights on hosting the 2036 Olympics. Now, returning from the All India Inter-University Athletics Championships in Bengaluru, the duo Dev Meena and Kuldeep Yadav were en route Bhopal when a travelling ticket examiner, TTE, took issue with their pole vault poles. Now, despite the poles being essential, highly specialized gear measuring nearly 5 meters and costing approximately 2 lakh rupees each, the official ruled them unauthorized luggage. At the Panvel station, the athletes were ordered to deboard. Their pleas for clarification, requests to speak with senior officials, and even offers to pay an immediate fine were dismissed. The standoff lasted for hours, causing the athletes to miss their connecting train. And eventually, after exhaustive negotiations and the payment of a fine, they were allowed to board another train a later time. However, the permission came with a condition that they were told that if a single passenger complained about the space taken by the poles, they would face further action.
मैं जरा ना इनका कितना होता है देख क्या तुम
हमारी ट्रेन में छूटे महोदय बस नहीं छूटेंगे
सर आप जा सकते हैं गाड़ी में लेकिन ये आपका जाएगा नहीं
फिर क्या हमें उसको बता दीजिए क्या करना है
सेफ कस्टडी में रहेगा यहाँ पे आप बाद में आगे
ये सर 20 लाख का सामान है
सर जो भी है इधर
अरे तेरी गाड़ी में टाइम है ओए दादा भाई तेरी गाड़ी में बहुत टाइम है
So for Meena and Yadav, the emotional toll is as heavy as the financial risk to their equipment. So as the country dreams of touching new heights, bringing in a paradigm shift in pursuit of sporting excellence, the fundamentals to undergo this change seems to be compromised. We'll just straight away go across to the guests that are joining in, the aggrieved athletes who in fact have spoken to Republic TV, and we will be connecting with them once again on this issue. Because we will just straight away go to Mr. Meena and Mr. Yadav, who are joining us on the broadcast. I think Mr. Meena is already with us. Is he here? We can just connect with him straight away without wasting any time. Okay, Meena ji, आप सुन सकते हैं मुझे?
हेलो, आवाज आ रही?
जी जी जी, बिल्कुल आवाज आ रही है
जी।
बिल्कुल। हमें ये बताएं कि क्या रीज़न दिया गया था टीटी द्वारा जब आपसे ये बहसबाजी चल रही थी, आपने बोला हमारी ट्रेन नहीं छूटनी चाहिए, रीज़न क्या दिया है पोल्स ना ले जाने के लिए? पहले बात तो है
रीज़न उन्होंने दिया कि ये स्पोर्ट्स इक्विपमेंट इसमें नहीं जाएगा, आपको ये ले जाने के लिए आपको फाइन भरना पड़ेगा मैम, इसका ऐसा बोला था उन्होंने।
अच्छा, तो आपने जब बोला, आपने क्या किसी से मदद ली उस वक्त? क्या साई से या किसी भी से, फेडरेशन से, किसी से भी, अथॉरिटी से आपने क्या मदद लेने की कोशिश करी?
आवाज नहीं आ रही मैं आपकी।
Okay, let's just fix our audio with the athletes. आप दोनों को आवाज नहीं आ रही है? देव, आपको भी आवाज नहीं?
यस मैम, यस मैम, अब आ रही है।
जी जी जी, आप बताएं कि क्या आपने फेडरेशन से बात करी थी इसके बारे में?
नहीं मैम, ये मैम फेडरेशन का इसमें कोई है ही नहीं मैम। ये तो हर बार का मैम, रेलवे स्टेशन पे हर बार यही दिक्कत आती है मैम, स्पोर्ट्स इक्विपमेंट
मैं इसलिए कह रही हूँ क्योंकि हर बार आती है, तो क्या कोई अरेंजमेंट बनाया गया है कि आपके लिए एक अलग प्रावधान हो कुछ? क्योंकि हर बार तो ट्रेन नहीं छूटना अवॉइड कर सकते हैं आप, तो क्या इस बात को कभी कुछ सोल्यूशन मिलकर रेलवेज के साथ, एयरलाइंस के साथ, कभी ये कुछ आपने कहीं ये बात शेयर करी होगी फेडरेशन से? तो क्या कभी कोई भी इसका हल नहीं निकाला गया है?
मैं अभी तक तो कुछ भी हल नहीं निकाला मैम। मैं तो हम यही चाहते हैं कि इस पे कुछ ना कुछ कार्रवाई हो, और या फिर इसका कुछ हल निकले, कुछ ऐसी इशू हो जाए, कुछ लेटर इशू कर दें या फिर कुछ रूल इशू कर दें इस वजह से कि स्पोर्ट्स इक्विपमेंट के लिए ना रोके एथलीट को। अगर कुछ ऐसा टिकट हुआ स्पेशल, मतलब टिकट होगा तो हम टिकट भी करवा लेंगे मैम, क्योंकि हम तो मैम 20 लाख का पोल कैरी करके ऐसे ही जाते हैं। तो उसमें हम अगर कोई सेफ्टी का कुछ इंश्योरेंस हमको दे दें कि हम सेफ्टी से आपका पूरा पोल ले जाएंगे लाएंगे, तो हमको वो लेने में कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं है ना। लेकिन मैम वो पोल इतना महंगा आता है कि हम चाहते हैं कि उसको हम अपने साथ ही हम उसको कैरी करें ज्यादातर। तो
जी, अब देखिए और भी एथलीट्स हैं दुनिया जहान में, मोंडो हैं जो सबके आइकॉन हैं, उन्होंने भी कई बार स्टोरीज बताई हैं, कुलदीप यादव जी, कि कैसे वो लोग देखकर उनको अजीब लगता है कि पैसेंजर जब देखते हैं, बट तकलीफ तो सबके लिए, क्योंकि वो लेंथ तो सबकी पूरे दुनिया भर में सेम है, लेकिन ऐसी कहानी तो निकल के नहीं आती है कि किसी ने ट्रेन से उतार दिया हो।
यस मैम, ये तो गलत है।
लोगों ने समझाने की बहुत ज्यादा कोशिश की, मतलब इसके पहले हम लोग के साथ प्रॉब्लम होती थी, लेकिन हम लोग वैसे भी एक्स्ट्रा टाइम लेके चलता हूँ हमेशा, कभी भी कि अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम हुई तो उसको मैनेज कर लेंगे हम लोग। ज्यादातर मैम इसको मना के हम लोग बात हो जाती थी। इस बार पहली बार ऐसा हुआ कि बिल्कुल हम लोग को छोड़ ही नहीं रहे थे, फिर इसलिए हम लोग सोचा इस बार हम लोग न्यूज में जाएगा, थोड़ा बताएगा, ताकि हमारा हेल्प हो, अगली बार किसी के साथ ऐसा ना हो। नहीं लोग इसके पहले तो होती थी प्रॉब्लम्स, लेकिन हम लोग कैसे भी मैनेज कर लेते थे, बातचीत करके, समझा के, वीडियो दिखा के। लेकिन इस बार वो बहुत ज्यादा ही दिक्कत हो गई, इसीलिए हम लोग सोचा इसको थोड़ा न्यूज तक जाएगा।
कुलदीप जी, क्या है ना कि नौबत आनी ही नहीं चाहिए। इस बार हो, जितने भी बार हो, किसी के साथ भी नौबत नहीं आनी चाहिए। तो क्या आपको लगता नहीं है कि इसका संज्ञान और जो अथॉरिटीज है उनको भी लेना चाहिए था? रेलवेज के साथ मिलकर आपके जो आपको भेजते हैं, जो चाहते हैं कि इंडिया मेडल लेकर आए, उनका भी तो दायित्व बनता है कि नहीं बनता है?
यस मैम, क्योंकि हम तो मैम सीनियर एथलीट है मैम, इंडिया के टॉप प्लेयर हैं, तो हमको ये चीज फेस करना पड़ रहा है। तो जो हमारे जूनियर एथलीट है मैम, वो कैसे करेंगे? चलो हमको मैम हमारी गवर्नमेंट जो है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, जो हमारी एकेडमी हमको सारी चीजें प्रोवाइड करती है, लाने ले जाने का खर्चा पूरा वो देती है। तो लेकिन जो एथलीट मैम जो खुद से ट्रेवल करते हैं, जिनके पास कोई ट्रेनिंग करने का कोई वो नहीं है, बेस नहीं है मैम, तो वो बेचारे मैम, उनको तो जितना वो पैसा मांगे उतना देना पड़ता है ना मैम उनको, उनके लिए तो बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है ये चीजें।
अच्छा, अभी तक कुछ एक्शन हुआ है? अभी तक कोई एक्शन लिया गया है?
अभी तक तो मैम कोई भी एक्शन नहीं लिया है मैम ऐसा कुछ।
अच्छा, ओके, बहुत शुक्रिया देव वीना जी, कुलदीप यादव जी हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए एक बार फिर से रिपब्लिक टीवी पर। व्यूअर्स, तो व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू हाईलाइट इज द सॉरी स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स एंड द सैड स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स, द शेमफुल स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स as far as our athletes are concerned, that we die with their toil hard for bringing laurels to the nation, but this is how they are treated. Viewers, we shift our focus quickly to the other trending stories this evening. It's a single image that has been posted, but one that has stirred the hornet's nest. It's a cartoon, or rather an AI generated image shared by Donald Trump on Truth Social. It's become truth comical, seriously. The post has been the post shows the American flag being planted on Greenland alongside a sign declaring it as future US territory. Another post soon thereafter floated the new map, furthering his claim of an included Greenland. And this is not unfamiliar territory for President Trump. During his earlier term, he openly floated the idea of the US purchasing Greenland, which was rejected by Denmark then, and it continues to do so. And now Greenland has its importance that goes far beyond symbolism. The Arctic island sits at a strategic crossroads, rich in rare earth minerals, increasingly vital as melting ice opens new shipping routes. This post on your screens has garnered ire for having blurred the line between political messaging and foreign policy signaling. Danish leaders have repeatedly stated that Greenland is not for sale, as the United States, China and Russia eye the Arctic's future. Even symbolic gestures carrying weight, and which would explain why Trump wants to set foot on Greenland. He doesn't want Russia or China to be his neighbors. But for now, the post remains a provocative signal rather than policy. But coming from the President of the United States, it is unlikely to be dismissed as mere political theatre.
Oh, did he say that? Well, nobody wants him because he's going to be out of office very soon. So, that's all right. What I'll do is, if they feel like Costo, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes, and he'll join. But he doesn't have to join. If he said that, you're probably giving it to me a little bit differently. But if he actually did say that, but as you know, he's going to be out of office in a few months. Yes, he's one of the people. These are world leaders, and the answer is yes.
Greenland is very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen.
With France also. We'll just go on to what's happening with Macron. US President Donald Trump shared what he claims is a private text message from French President Emmanuel Macron, posting it on Truth Social amid his renewed push for Greenland. Now, this alleged message surfaced as relations between the two leaders remain strained following Macron's decision to decline Trump's invitation to join a proposed board of peace for Gaza. And additionally, Trump threatened that he would impose a 200% tariff on French wines and champagne. The soundbite we just played out was in that regard. And in classic Trump fashion now, the Republican Supremo left the threat hanging and did not elaborate on this further. He now, at the Davos, talking about Macron, he was, of course, speaking at Davos a while back, also taking aim at Trump for his doubling down as far as the Greenland issue is concerned. And he's also just being spotted at Davos sporting goggles. That's also become quite a trend right now. It's reported to be a minor eye issue, and that's why surprisingly he turned up with those goggles during the World Economic Forum address at Davos in Switzerland. But we will tell you what he said. But right now we'll go across to author and professor of political science and international relations. Right now, Mr. Andrew Latham is joining us. Professor Latham, thank you so much for joining us on Republic TV, sir. Now, we just showed that new American map that has been posted by Donald Trump. He just seems to be, incessant with such posts. He's continuously pushing his agenda on Greenland, also includes Canada today, Venezuela. We've seen all that has happened. How do we read this continuous posting by Donald Trump? I mean, he's completely unpredictable. Can we take him lightly, or you really think that he's really going to move towards it?
I don't think he's going to move towards either purchasing or forcibly annexing Greenland. First of all, he wouldn't get authority from the Congress, especially after November, when the Congress is likely to, the Republicans are likely to lose their majority in both houses of Congress, so he won't have that power. And the Supreme Court's likely to strike down his tariff powers as well. So he's running out of levers, which leaves Truth Social, Comic Social, as I think you called it, as one of his main sort of venues for exercising leverage. I like to think of it as lots of good cops around Trump, and he plays the bad cop. He's always making noises offhand about 200% tariffs on French wines and champagnes, for example. He didn't give that 5 seconds worth of thought. It was a reflex. But the people around him, the serious folks, Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, and Marco Rubio, who wears multiple hats, including National Security Advisor, Secretary of State, they're making different noises, which is, hey, everybody calm down. Greenland is important, and we would like the Europeans to step up and do more. But at the end of the day, we have no interest in turning it into the 51st state or anything like that. And it needs to be said, too, that the mechanisms are already in place, both within NATO to enhance the European contribution, but also America has extensive basing rights in Greenland. It could up its footprint on the island legally without annexing the territory either forcibly or through purchase. So, in a sense, not unpredictable, because Trump is very predictable. This is the way he behaves. Should it be taken seriously? Well, yes, it's the President of the United States. Should people like Ursula von der Leyen and President Macron be responding the way they are? No, because rational actors ought to be dialing down the temperature and not ratcheting it up.
Right. Professor Latham, many thanks for joining us on Republic TV with your reading of this situation. Many thanks. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. All right, viewers, we're shifting our focus to the other stories that we've been tracking for you. It's a new day and we have a new controversy now. Spotted are Prince Harry and Liz Hurley leaving the court on the first day of trial against Daily Mail publisher. It started to be one of the most high-profile media court cases of the decade. The Prince is one of a number of claimants on a docket that also features Elton John, his husband David Furnish and campaigner Doreen Lawrence. The group says that they are the victims of abhorrent criminal activity and gross breaches of privacy. That includes the hiring of private investigators. Now, the lawsuit adds the Associated Newspapers, which published the Daily Mail, commissioned individuals to listen to private telephone calls, paid police officials with corrupt links to private investigators for inside information, and impersonated individuals to obtain medical records. It alleges bank accounts were accessed through illicit means and manipulation. Associated Newspapers has said the claims are preposterous smears, which appear to be nothing more than a pre-planned and orchestrated attempt to drag the Mail titles into the phone hacking scandal concerning articles up to 30 years old. And on to the other story, Bangladesh has now pushed back against the ICC. But of course, to no avail. This is about the T20 World Cup 2026 being hosted by India. BCB says that it has rejected the calls by ICC on and calling it unreasonable conditions being imposed by the ICC. Dhaka says that it has sent a clear message that there will be no acceptance under pressure. That's the youth and sports advisor Asif Nazrul, who says that Bangladesh will not agree to terms dictated by influence, he says. In a sharp remark, in fact, Nazrul says if the ICC bows to pressure from the Indian Cricket Board, Bangladesh will not accept it. Well, we wonder what other option does Bangladesh have, because there is no, of course, weight in their arguments, and there are no takers for Bangladesh's argument. In fact, Bangladesh, comically cites the precedent when India refused to play in Pakistan and the venues were changed. The standoff, of course, continues to be intensified with Mustafizur Rahman's exclusion from IPL 2026, triggering strong pushback from Bangladesh Cricket Board. Even as ICC sources tell us that there is a 21st January deadline, the PCB says that it has denied that any final date has been communicated to them. The clock is, of course, ticking, and BCB and ICC are locked in a standoff. The Bangladesh Cricket Board refusing to budge, but of course, there is no solution in sight. All right, as part of the nationwide celebrations commemorating 150 years of the iconic national song, the Vande Mataram, Indian Army's Symphony Band presented a special musical performance at Central Park of Connaught Place today, captivating audiences in the heart of the national capital. The performance paid homage to Vande Mataram, song that played a pivotal role in inspiring India's freedom movement and continues to resonate as a symbol of national unity, pride and cultural heritage. Through a thoughtfully curated repertoire, the Indian Army Symphony Band highlighted the timeless legacy and enduring relevance of this historic composition. Gentlemen, we come to a close of the trending tonight. We bring to you a glimpse into the behind the scenes of the Republic Day Parade camp and Kartavya Path to witness the life of an Indian Army soldier, where every action, every march and every command is a tribute to the nation's